Okay, good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday evening. Hope everyone had a good weekend. And the movie continues, like what they say. The movie's still going. So, last night's show was my biggest show we had in a long time, everybody. Last count was 560 I had total. So I'm glad that everybody's starting to come to my channel again. And all that. So thanks everybody for supporting the channel, and hopefully we'll get some bigger amount of people in here. We got the best mods and the best chat and the best support. And Paige taking a night off, so we got Lucy in. Hey, Samantha. The sun's bright right now, right? Going right at me. I got to shut the... Ugh. Shoot. There. Chico's getting suntan there. Laying there in front of the sun. So prayers out to the soldiers that passed away the last couple of days. We lost some soldiers, you guys. They said there's about 6 of them that passed away. Oh, no. No, I just got some in my throat or something. Thanks, girl. Yep. So there's a lot going on. There's so much stuff getting out. We do have News Force came out yesterday. She had a 17-minute one and a 6-minute one. So I'm gonna play those two first, and then I got a tape delayed with Mel Squaz about 4 minutes. She said tomorrow night she'll have a Q&A tomorrow. Or actually, it's there Monday, I believe now, I think. So we'll see if she comes out with the video tonight before we go off. So we'll wait a few minutes here. Get big crowd in here. No Billy Bean yet. This is a... Oh, also there's airport in Kansas City had to evacuate. And it looks like 10 minutes ago, New York had something, so I might have to play that first. It's 8 minutes. And we should have the X2 report coming out here shortly. They're live right now. And we got the funny lady with another Walmart incident, you guys. Another meltdown. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started because we got a lot to cover again. See if we can go 2 in a row with another big show here. Flying Eagle hopefully will be in here. Paul's not in yet. Tim. Up there you are. I don't know. I hope I'm not getting a cold, Carol. Oh, we got 16 already showing 2 likes. So we'll get to breaking news out of New York. We'll get that first.
All returns, $150 all in, no surprises. Now this is taxes.
University of Phoenix feels built for real life because it is. Some schools.
This is a Fox News alert. The NYPD has identified a suspicious device in a vehicle near Mayor Mamdani's house. They have evacuated buildings in the vicinity while the
Mayor
bomb squad
assesses
and removes the device. This comes after the NYPD confirmed at least one IED was ignited and deployed at a protest yesterday. Thankfully, no one was injured as the device appears to have failed to detonate, but 2 suspects were arrested on the scene yesterday. They're in custody in connection with this apparent attack. Joining us now by phone is Paul Morrow, former NYPD inspector, Fox News contributor. We rely on him for all of this breaking news. All right, Paul, obviously we're all sitting in New York City right now, and I guess the concern because of what happened yesterday and now apparently what's happening today, how concerned do we need to be about more IEDs planted around the city?
Well, hopefully there are not, obviously, but that's going to be one of the things that they're chasing down as they go back into the lives of these 2 perpetrators. It looks like at least one of them made reference to ISIS after the arrest, so that's going to give you almost certainly the materials for terrorism charge. The case has gone federal. The 2 IEDs are in federal custody on the way to the Quantico lab, as I understand it. And the thing that really is a game changer here is the fact that it was TATP, which is a substance that can be purchased commercially. You can get the various components, but you have to mix them precisely, and the chemical reaction has to occur in a certain way. You need certain percentages of each of the components, and likely that's where this failed. This is, to my mind, the first homegrown attempt using TATP, but that doesn't mean it doesn't punch at a very high weight. If that device had detonated, or if either of them had detonated, you would have had deaths, unquestionably. This is the substance that was used in the Ariana Grande case that went off in Manchester, and other very serious cases. And so I can guarantee you this is one of those things where they really have all the horses out there looking at this. Everybody's working today in relation to this case.
Paul, this is Joey. I'm not sure if you're watching the TV right now, but I think you recognize my voice. I'm going to just stick with that, just with my own background. Let's discuss that a little bit. I'm getting updated on this as well as the rest of the American public. Do you know, so TATP is a substance that's highly volatile. It's very sensitive. Generally, it's used as an initiator, not a main charge. Because it is so sensitive, making enough of it to make a main charge is very difficult, and it's not cost effective compared to a lot of others that are used. Do you have any idea? We're hearing reports of TATP. Is it just that it was involved in the IED? Do you know if there are other substances? In other words, are they saying that the entire IED was TATP? Because if that's the case, chances are they didn't make it right, and that's why they were able to make so much of it.
Yeah, I would go with that interpretation of what I'm hearing, especially from the size of the devices. We're at a car bomb, and that might be what's going on right now on the Upper East Side, because my understanding is the two incidents are linked.
Yeah.
And my gut tells me what happened here is they did the canvassing. They probably did a video canvass of cars coming in and out, et cetera, and they ascertained that this car comes back to one of the perps somehow or other.
I got you.
So if you have a TATP as an initiator, you know, you can do various things. Let's not give out formulas, but there's things you can do at a car bomb level that can make it punch at a higher weight. In light of the size and the fact that they had the nails wrapped around with the duct tape, it tells me that likely was all you had here, but doesn't mean it wouldn't have been highly deadly. And we really did get lucky. My question is if it's either they blew the proportions, or maybe one of those cops, because the cops came right up on the devices, they might have pulled the fuse out. So it could be some storyline like that. I don't have that information, but obviously by now the investigators do.
Paul, it's Alicia Acuna here. So I'm just curious. Yesterday's incident that happened was the accused were part of the counter protest group, and this guy threw this IED. And then you looked at today, and it's a car bomb outside the mayor's residence. In terms of political messaging, what connection do you see here with regard to Mamdani, possibly?
Well, you know, I would have maybe gone down that road until I'm getting this reporting that one of the perps was started to sound off about ISIS, and the New York Post is reporting that they had been watching ISIS videos. So this is starting to feel to me like one of those sort of lone wolf, except there's two guys here, self-radicalized situations where it's a sort of loser the lion situation. They decided they were going to do this on their own, and they feel like they're adhering to the ISIS messaging, the catfishing that ISIS does, which is just to radicalize young, sort of directionless men who are leading slipping down lives and play to the idea that Islam has been insulted and that they need to do this for the cause. It doesn't track, I should mention, to where you normally see TATP deployed. The other instances of TATP being deployed, CONUS, or anywhere near CONUS, have had in either Al-Qaeda or Taliban or ISIS footprint. It punches it that way. Richard Reed on plane, as I said, the Ariana Grande situation, the London 7/7 bombing, which was extremely deadly. That was, I believe, 52. The only CONUS one I can think of was a failed attempt by a guy named Najibullah Azazi. I was in the middle of that case. These are very, very serious things. I've never seen a homegrown one, and thank God for it, because that's probably why it failed.
Go ahead, Paul. I just want to ask a follow-up on that, Paul. I just want to clarify some terms here for everyone at home. When you say lone wolf, does that still refer to if these folks were receiving message? In other words, if ISIS is out there putting out YouTube videos, putting out things in message boards and chat rooms, even if they're not in direct communication, but they're receiving instructions on TATP, stuff like that, would that still be considered lone wolf does that make sense if they're being influenced by or even educated by in just mass propaganda that's put out?
Michigan needs a no-holds-barred governor like President Trump. We'll unleash Michigan's economy.
Yeah, it's a good question. So realistically, we always treated it as three buckets, right? Either you're an asset, that is, you were trained and then sent into America by a foreign group. That's sort of the most worrisome and than
Yeah.
the person that punches at a higher
Hey,
wage.
Ed.
Then there's directed. And that is to say somebody, and that's what you're talking about, somebody who's here who's getting messages, catfished into doing something. And then the third category is completely self-inspired. You're not in touch with anybody overseas, but you're looking at stuff online. You're getting messaging from, not directly, but from videos and stuff that have been out there. You're in the chat rooms and all that. I think that's what we just had down in Austin. And there's a continuum between them. These things aren't precise. But generally, when we said lone wolf, it was somebody who was self-inspired and sort of self-educated on what to do. The problem with that didn't punch at the highest weight, but the problem with that is the hardest to interdict because they can be very, very dark to you.
Hey, Paul, it's Concha. Just real quick, IED is a type of term, that acronym, improvised explosive device, that we normally relegate to the Middle East, or you got to go back over a decade to the Boston bombers, right? And eventually their goal was to get to Times Square after what they did at the end of that marathon.
Yeah, thanks, Ed.
In terms of what we're looking at here, you mentioned Richard Reed, the failed shoe bomber. Is this a new front that we should be worried about? Because you don't hear about IEDs in New York City very often. I can't remember the last time we've even talked about something like this.
Yeah, I mean, there are IEDs and IEDs. I wouldn't put this in the military context where you had things that were constructed by the IRGC and deployed into theater overseas, like places like Afghanistan and Iraq. But that said, that doesn't mean they're any less deadly. And that's why I brought it up, actually, because I had never seen a THCP homegrown attempt here that was not directed from overseas. So if this is, in fact, a self-educated pair that went down that route, yeah, it's arguably, because these guys always copy each other, right? So, they're receiving these messages and they're all online. So you got to worry about that. And, and as we started out, as Tommy said, you got to worry now is who else were they affiliated with? Are other characters out there running around? Are there other?
So, Tim, that was Mondani. He has a suspicious device already. He's only been there 3 months. So the first news for us is 6 minutes from yesterday.
But a big, important news report coming out of Cuba. Like I've told you guys, the war is not above ground. The war is below ground. And we're going to take a look at what just happened in Cuba. All right. Let's head on over to Cuba. And we are going to be going to the southern tip of Cuba. Believe it or not, right next door to Guantanamo Bay, if you can believe it. Guys, all right, let's zoom in because this is very exciting. So we're at the southernmost tip, okay? And we're going to go ahead and click on this dumb. This was yesterday at 2:56 my time, Mountain Standard Time. Take a look, guys. 10 km. Yeah, slammer jammer. And that was a 5.0. It was big, whatever we blasted in there. It's big and it was gone. It's gone. And that is just awesome. Okay. We know when we hit a main tunnel that we're done with that area. And we could celebrate a little bit more that it's peaceful. More than likely with this dome being blown up and it being a 10 km at a 5.0 blast, she was definitely a main tunnel. And when I say tunnel, guys, and you think tunnels, you're like, oh, okay, it's a tunnel the size of a house or something like that. No, we're talking about military bases that are the size of a regular base up here, if not larger. Okay, folks, down underneath. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit and just take a look at where that was at. All right. We have another one just to the north we'll be taking a look at. Well, I don't see much, guys. All right, but that's okay. Like I always talk about, they're always built in the shelf. I know this looks like it's straight across, but it's actually down, 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 almost like steps. That is a shelf system. And we're going to take a look at that one to the north. Let's pop onto that one. That was yesterday, right around the same time, 3:02, okay? And that was a 14 km, 4.1 blast. Okay, that is huge. Okay, whatever they got here, guys, it is huge. All right. And I'm pretty sure the rest of the world is feeling at peace today. The military that does know about the dumbs and are busy trying to blow these up, I'm sure they're getting a restful sleep tonight over blowing these up and them being gone. All right, guys. So again, this is just to the south and the east of Guantanamo Bay. Don't have far to go if you're picking up any humans in there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the third one, guys. Here's our third one just to the south, too, of course, yesterday. Okay. And again, same thing. Oh, look at that, guys. Same time, 3:02. They blew them up together. Look at that. Beautiful. They blew them both up. So these two right here, twinsies. That's how I label them when they do that. Same exact time, same exact strength behind the magnitude of the blast. So very, very, very exciting news. I'm so glad I could bring this to you this morning, you guys, because there's so much false information going on out there. There's so much negative information out there that it's really hard for everybody to even keep track of it. Even the 5Ders are struggling. Guys, take what you think is important and throw the rest away. Okay. It's very important to understand where they're misleading people on where the war is the deep state. It's all they have left is Mockingbird. And if you don't know what Mockingbird is, look that up. It's best to go over to BitChute, guys. BitChute's really good for finding this stuff fast without censorship. It's called Operation Project Mockingbird. Okay, and it involves the CIA, of course, that created the program. This is only a portion of it, but it was definitely a strong pull that involves also our media. And when whoever has the oil wins the war, but whoever's the media wins all of the war.
A minute and a half.
So until we can get our media back again to good and have it telling the truth again, it's just so important to realize where the war is and where the war isn't. And I can tell you it's definitely not in Iran. Okay. So every day, if you guys can, come over and take a look at all the dots and click on them so that you can show yourself what's really going on and where the war is at. And it's a lot of fun too. While I've got you here, let's peek over. I doubt because of the time of day, but let's go ahead and peek over at our orange screen quick. Okay, the map is empty right now. There are no orange screens, but there actually is. This time of day until about 11, 12 o'clock, we can't see because of the way the sun hits it. So it does not register the orange screen. So we don't see anything right now. If I see anything pop up, I for sure will come right out on the air and tell you guys if I see anything when the orange screens do appear for us again. I will keep a very, very close eye on this today. If I see anything else pop up here on our dumbs and underground, volcanoes and earthquake map, I definitely will get it right out to you guys with that. You guys enjoy.
Yeah, I got another one. She did come out.
Report.
17
we have
minutes,
some
you guys.
action
17.
that I wanted to show you guys tonight that is quite interesting. And it definitely involves some of the weather that is coming through the United States in the southeastern part of the continent. So let's come on in. I'm just going to work from east to west here. And let's just come in here on South Carolina area. We're going right in here just south of Jacksonville. And you guys can see we're at Camp Lejeune. All right. We do have an orange screen up over Camp Lejeune right now. And if we move just a little bit to the north, we can see that it stretches all the way up to Maysville. Okay. So it's just one screen, but there's something going on. And just to the north and to the east, we have a double screen that stretches from, just get something to come in here for me. Whoops. Back out here so I can see what's going on. Sorry, guys, I'm not very familiar with this section of the Los Estados Unidos. All right, I'm just going to call it Pond Pine Wilderness, which is right off of the Great Lake. All right, and we have a double screen that extends all the way up here past New Bern and comes over to Fairfield Harbor. All right, guys, we also have way out here past Havelock, Cape Lookout National Seashore area coming in closer, called the Open Grounds. Carteret County Game and Land. You guys, this is all like national forest in their area, okay? And we know that this whole area in here is going to be pretty much cabal controlled. So all swampy area. Let me pull back out so we could see that pop. And it comes all the way out
there
into the ocean and stretches across just to... Hey guys, Wendy with News Force, and I'm popping in this Saturday evening with a orange screen report. We have some action. It stretches over Highway 90. Appaloosa, guys, Appaloosa. Off of Swan Porter National Wildlife
Refuge.
3 minutes.
I got it at the 3 minute mark.
All right. So that's quite interesting there. Let's pull back out and we're just going to move to the south. Now, let's just go over here. So it looks like a box of them, of what I call droplets, guys. And as you can see, has nothing to do with what they're showing as fires. Okay, so those are definitely orange screens. So they're being very specific. We have a double screen here. Again, in a wildlife management area, guys, just to the east of Crestview. And it stretches over Highway 90. Appaloosa, guys, Appaloosa. Can't get the snap point. There's the snap point. Whoops. There's our snap point on it right there. And then here's the snap point right there. If you don't know what I mean by that, that's where the beginning of them creating it. In my opinion, that's the resource to what's creating it, where it begins. So if you blow a bubble and you pull your lips together and then you push, I'm calling the snap point the part of your mouth where you blow into the bubble like that. Okay. So where it's created, I'm calling it. So Blackwater River State Forest. There we go. My pen quit working for a minute there, guys. All right. Of course, forestry areas. We have another single screen. And we have some more just to the east of Montgomery. We've got one that stretches across Highway 85, guys, all the way up to Tallahassee. Okay. Comes all the way up here to Walnut Hill and Thornton. Here's your snap point right here. Snap point right there, guys. All right, we have some action tonight for sure. Here's right in almost downtown Columbus, just to the east. We have another one, Fort Benning. All right, Fort Benning, guys. Fort Benning has one up over it tonight. And this whole area, all right, is under severe thunderstorms that are rushing through that area. And we know that HARP is controlled weather, and sometimes they will use thunderstorms in order to keep people inside while these operations are happening. All right, the White Hats will, the military will. If there's tornadoes involved or any destruction at all, it is not of the White Hat doing. It is of the deep state doing. And the deep state is using weather as punishment because we're just coming right down on them. So to the east of Macon, off of Highway 16, stretching up to, just get a look at this. The north of Kite, running right along 221, Highway 221, we have one snap point being right here. And for the second screen right here, we have something. Let me just take a look and see if we see any type of bases or anything like that. All right. Nope. All right, guys. And so let's just, before we keep moving to the south down into Florida, here we have some more, guys. Yeah, we already went over those. I just want to grab so you guys can see this weather pushing through, that it matches right up with these droplet orange screens. All right, guys, we're over at our regular weather map, and I'm going to go ahead and set it into motion so that you guys can see that section. See where that's going through, right where those droplets are. They're using this now. If there's any tornadoes or anything that spawns off of this, like I said, it's the deep state lash out. But these thunderstorms, if they're just regular thunderstorms that come through with wind and rain and stuff like that, you can just about match it up with these orange screens that they're putting up, that there's operations going on, and they may be using the weather to, again, keep people inside and stuff like that. I put out reports all the time of them catching, groups of 275, child sex traffickers, or it'll even be famous people too. They'll go after famous people, and it's time to get them because they've got enough ammo against them, but they're well protected, and so it has to be a military operation. Put this into motion, Wendy. So you can see it come across here, and it's pretty much, to me, looks like it's being used with the military, because I don't see any problems with any tornadic activity or anything like that. There you go, into 1 a.m. So let's go back to our map, and we're going to go south into Florida, back to our orange screen map. Let you guys get a look at that, right where those orange screens are. That weather is going to come through. Usually rain or snow is enough to keep cold weather. They'll use cold weather. All right, so back down. Let's go into Florida, guys. Down to Lake Okeechobee quick. They're dropping 2 screens on it again. They're using this lake. This lake was made. Okay, let me back up for a minute. In case you've never heard me talk about Okeechobee Lake. Most lakes down underneath it have very nefarious things going on, guys, okay? And Lake Okeechobee was made for the nefarious things going on down underneath it. I believe it's only 12 feet deep, I believe. 12 to 16, I can't remember. It's a man-made lake. They tried to say it's for water for everybody, and that's not the truth at all. It was cartel made. Clearly, it's to the south of Orlando, good old Disney World, and their bio labs down underneath, and very much center and well used to their benefit. So there's a lot of action in and out going on with this, like the military fighting and combating against the cartel. So we have a double screen over Lake Okeechobee tonight. Okay. So they're working on it. And again, our fake fire area has something big that we'll find out soon enough. What was going on here just to the south in the Everglades in Collier County. Okay. Running along Highway 7. See, it won't even give me. There we go. All right. So, okay, guys. So it started out, this fire started on three. I'm sorry. It was wait, back up. Start date 2/22. And it started out burning 25,000 acres, and it's been sitting at 35,000 for I don't know how long. And it still claims it's going on. I mean, there's your proof right there. So it's a heck of an operation. And now all of a sudden we have Lake Okeechobee lit up. I want you guys to keep in mind that there's submarine tunnels and stuff that run underneath. Okay. A lot of action. All right, guys. I just wanted to note that our war zone area down here, War to Peace, here our squeeze zone has quite a few very specific triple, quadruple, and even bigger than that. Just south of Valhermosa, we have, now this is a screen on the outside, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 screens, guys. That's big action. We can only hope that down the line we hear about these operations that take place. I'm pretty sure we get about 15 to 20% of the true operations and what happens being reported to us. But eventually they give it up. So here we go right here. Paraloso. Looks like Paraloso has a double with a triple. Okay, coming in there. There's a triple crossover. All right, 3 right there, guys. A lot of action tonight, guys. A lot of action. So up here, we have a pretty good pocket going on just south of Puebla. Okay, just south of Puebla. Look at that, guys. Wow. Holy cannoli. So we have, I'm going to try and count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's one behind it of 7. 7. Big time. We've got something big going on there. Hell of a fight going on there. Yep, I really hope they report to us and let us know what went on in this area. San Sebastian, I'll name 4 walls. San Miguel, okay. San Sebastian over to San Miguel, up to San Augustin, down to Hiroshima, Sadia. My apologies for my crappy Spanish. And you can see, guys, that stretches all the way up past San Antonio, Austin, and up here and just scrapes through Dallas. Big one tonight. Big one tonight. All right, into Louisiana. And here's our snap point for that right there. All right, guys. We also have one in Cuba tonight, just to the east of Havana. Pinar de Rio. See if we can get a highway for you guys. Whoops. Guam. All right, it's up over Guam. Here's your snap point. Here's Guam. All right, and it comes all the way out into the ocean. Not surprised about that. We also have one right here in almost Cancun. Merida. Almost Cancun. Tisman. All right, guys. And there we go. We have a very little baby just about on the border south of Tucson, Arizona, across the border into Mexico. Little tiny one. To the north of Magdalena, off of Highway 2, Highway 15, that shoots straight into Tucson. Interesting. Very interesting, folks. We have some action, that's for sure. We definitely will be watching for the reports on those operations that are military and have them fully underway in the next couple of days, next month. We'll find out why it happened. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed that report. We also have tonight into tomorrow, Spring Forward. Yes, that's just awesome. I just wanted to give a reminder to everyone.
Okay, that was yesterday. I don't think I did those yesterday. I got a bunch of clips, short clips for now, and then see how many short ones I can get.
We get older, a lot of times we feel certain doors closed to us. And what
I'll tell you, this is the obvious thing. Everybody worries about this. And I think, Don, did you trade
4
oil?
minutes on this.
I can't remember. I know you were an options trader, but look, if you trade oil, you know how this goes down, because here's the Strait of Hormuz. I'm showing you on the graphic here. This is the Strait of Hormuz. This is really important because this is how we get our oil, and 20% of our oil comes through the Strait of Hormuz. And so when they shut this down, and now Iran has promised to shut it down, it would theoretically have an effect on oil prices. I want to just temper that a little bit, because oil prices have come down significantly. Right? Just look at what you're paying at the gas pump compared to what you were paying with Biden. So oil prices have come down significantly, and we can withstand a fair amount, believe it or not, because for every $10 a barrel increase in the price of oil, it equates to about 25 cents or 24 cents to be exact at the gas pumps. So we're thinking this is going to last like 4 weeks. So how much is oil really going to go up? Don't forget, you've got all the American suppliers that have come on board, right? Tons of American suppliers that are like ready, willing, and able to pump oil. And you've also got Venezuela. Yeah, that was smart, right? Talking about putting the car before the horse, because we now have access to the Orinoco region in Venezuela, which is actually home to more proven oil reserves than all of Saudi Arabia. Granted, it's really thick, heavy stuff, and you got to get it out of the ground. I mean, really thick and heavy. I put it in a coffee cup once when I was traveling there and went to see all these oil fields, and I put the coffee cup right upside down and nothing came out. That's how thick and tar-like it is. You need oil at roughly $70 a barrel right now in order for that trade to make sense. But hey, it could happen, and I think it's good to have in our back pocket. It's also good not to have Iran messing around down there, because Iran was there, believe me. They were like, besties with Venezuela. Seriously. So we took that one out. Iran says Strait of Hormuz closed, warns it will attack ships trying to pass. Okay, guys, you keep trying. The big guys are in town. And we've kind of had it with your shenanigans. And so, yeah, the markets, are they going to react? I said to my colleague, Rob, again, over at 76 Research, and hey, we are not too shabby. I want to remind you, 76 Research, those are our portfolios. Go to 76portfolios.com. I'm actually going to put it up in the chat. So if anybody's watching here, these are really good numbers. Okay. These are really, really, really good numbers. 76 portfolios. I'm putting it live in the chat. Or you can go to 76research.com, but just look at the upside there. We've beaten the S&P handily for this year. Just really, really up considerably. But again, go look at those stock picks, because there's some really good ones in there for you. I would just say that the media is so biased against this president that they can't see straight. So I called Rob over the weekend. I'm like, I don't see this as being a huge trading event to the downside. I really don't. I mean, to me, if anything, this is a win, right? Like it's a big, big win, but you had some jitters and you had the media doing its part. I'm going to tell you, it is a win. Just look at the streets of LA. Let's go to the streets of LA. Hey, I mean, people are psyched, right? They're actually playing the song YMCA in the background. I can't play it for you because there's certain like rules about music. It's very touchy on the music front. I guess I have to sing it myself in order for it to work. But they're celebrating in LA, and the Iranian population in LA is just thrilled. If you go actually to the crowds overseas, you see similar type celebrations, and they don't want to tell you about this. The media never wants to tell you about all the good stuff.
Okay, that was it. It was only 4 minutes on that one. Three minutes.
Understand the frustration, the anger, and everything you feel. I went through that when I was 20, when I woke up. I'm 39 now. Eventually, you will plateau. You will realize what the truth is. And then you will take that energy and you will transmute it into something positive. Why? Because even the Bible says 365 times, do not fear. You want to know why? Because the entire matrix is fear-based. You do not want to have any fear. No, we're not going to have any nuclear wars. I don't even think nukes exist, to be honest. Hydrogen bombs, yeah, maybe, but not nukes. Because we would have probably nuked ourselves before. They just want you to think that. They want you to think that they are so powerful that you should be afraid of them. Screw them. Don't be afraid of them. Make fun of them. Laugh at them. Take their power away because they're a joke. And that's what they are. They've just convinced themselves and us that they are this magical like group of people that has more knowledge than the rest of us. Fuck them, okay? Laugh at them. Klaus Schwab looks like vagina dryness. Justin Trudeau looks like the dingleberry on my cat's ass when he doesn't lick himself properly after taking a poop. Okay? We win. That is why they have to reset us so many times, because we wake up, we realize what happened, and then we send them back to hell. Okay? And it's going to happen again, except this time we won't let them reset us. So just remember, it's us, normal people versus them. And yes, just like in 2020, you're going to get those dildos who are going to fight for the Satanists, but they don't even know what bathroom to use. So fuck them. Okay. And I know I shouldn't cuss a lot because I am trying to be more Christian-like, but sometimes it's just frustrating. Okay. So take that frustration, take that anger, and let's transmute it into something positive. I chose to bring knowledge and all of the truth out there. Everybody needs to be speaking out. Some people will do other things. Some people will do this. But collectively, we're all fighting the exact same war. And it is a spiritual war. And I want you to take that spiritual armor, put it on, and know that we will win. We just need to take this energy that we all have together and transmuted towards the evils in this world instead of each other. Eventually that will happen. I mean, we have a hard time as regular people sticking together, but I know for a fact that we will stick together when the final hour comes of good versus evil. So just stick in there, my dudes. It's going to get better. It's going to get awesome, because now I see more people waking up. It was super lonely 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but now I can see the God's army being built against these evil dudes, and just know that good is going to come out of it. And yes, I do wear filters for my eyelashes because I think it looks awesome. And I know it just ended up on my hat. And if you're like, stop wearing filters, there, see, so much better with a filter.
Okay, lady who used to be in Canada, now in Texas. I got a new one that's interesting. Fine, I go 5 minutes.
Nestled in the Alborz Mountains surrounding Tehran. The target was chosen for a specific reason. Buried deep beneath the mountains, Iran has constructed a labyrinth of multi-layered underground tunnels. They built this vast network to hide their crown jewel and massive arsenal of ballistic missiles. Their strategy is simple but deadly. Emerge from these hidden bunkers to ambush American jets when they least expect it. So how do you counter a threat buried that deep? You use a highly surgical weapon designed to pierce straight through thick layers of reinforced concrete. With just a dozen of these bunker busters, the military can wipe out an entire underground missile city in a single devastating strike. What is Phase 2 of Operation Epic Fury? 7 days of sustained combat. The skies over Iran are finally quiet, but don't let the silence fool you. Although the U.S. has achieved near total air superiority, but the war is just entering its most dangerous stage. Phase 1 was about clearing the skies, while Phase 2 it's about targeting Iran's strategic ballistic missiles underground. These are high-tech labyrinths bored deep into solid mountain rock, shielded by hundreds of feet of earth and reinforced concrete. If you drop a standard bomb here, it won't even leave a scratch. But here is the problem: Iran is still not out of the fight. If the US owns the sky, why not just send in standard fighters? Because while Iran's main network is shattered, isolated surface-to-air batteries like the S-300 are still hiding in the shadows. For an F-15E Strike Eagle, the legendary bomb truck of the Air Force, one lucky radar lock from a rogue missile is a death sentence. And in a high-stakes conflict, losing a crew and a multi-million-dollar jet to a surviving battery is a risk the Pentagon simply won't take. When the risk is too high for conventional fighters, you bring in the big boys. The B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. This $2 billion flying wing was designed for one specific purpose: to go where nothing else can. It doesn't fight air defenses, it ignores them. Cruising undetected in the stratosphere, the B-2 is the only platform on Earth capable of penetrating this contested airspace to deliver the final blow, raining down dozens of 2,000-pound BLU-109 bunker busters to crack the mountain wide open. But where are the nuclear sites located? The forces targeted highly fortified, subterranean weapons complexes, often referred to as missile cities, which were carved deep into the bedrock of the Alborz Mountains surrounding Tehran. Where did this long-range mission originate? The operation began thousands of miles away at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. 4 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers took off for a direct round-trip mission, relying on a fleet of aerial refueling tankers over the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea to complete the 6,000-plus nautical mile journey.
Pretty good.
But how did the military prepare the airspace for the incoming bombers? Before the B-2s arrived, U.S. and Allied forces executed a suppression of enemy air defenses strategy. EA-18G Growlers jammed enemy radar systems with heavy electronic warfare, while fighter jets destroyed operational surface-to-air missile launchers to blind the defense grid and clear a safer path, successfully infiltrating the degraded airspace completely undetected. What was the tactical strategy for destroying facilities buried so deeply underground? Once over the target coordinates, the bombers opened their internal bays to saturate the area rather than dropping a single massive explosive. They deployed multiple precision-guided bunker busters, calculating exact angles of impact to collapse reinforced concrete entrances, shatter ventilation shafts, and exploit structural weak points, effectively burying the ballistic missiles inside the mountain. How many bunker buster bombs were dropped during this operation? The B-2s dropped dozens of BLU-109 and 2,000-pound precision-guided penetrator bombs. This strike was a key component of a larger 72-hour campaign that successfully hit approximately 200 hardened infrastructure targets deep inside the region. But what's the difference between the BLU-109 and the GBU-57 bomb? While the massive 30,000 pounds GBU-57 NOP is used to crush the deepest parts of a mountain, the GBU-28 and GBU-31 are the surgical tools. Let's break down exactly how this works. Once this bomb drops from the belly of the B-2 Spirit, it falls just like a traditional unguided weapon. The real magic is in the fusing. Ground crews can fit it with a nose fuse, a tail fuse, or both. If it hits the dirt with the nose fuse active, it detonates on impact, triggering the explosive conduit instantly for a massive surface blast. But if the pilot needs to crack a hardened target, they rely on FMU-139 tail fuse for a delayed reaction. Driven by gravity, the heavy casing of the bomb easily penetrates the concrete surface of a building. Once inside, the smart fuse counts down the programmed milliseconds before triggering the 500-pound payload, destroying the target from the inside out. Considering its small $4,000 price tag, the sheer destructive return on investment is staggering.
Okay. That's how it ended. So that was a good military equipment report. Got some more short ones here. All right. Ah. I can't bring it up, you guys. Hey, Mike. I made it. Sorry about that one, squad.
The record says something different. In 2025 alone, one single year, the United States launched 626 airstrikes, more than Biden's entire four-year term, more than Bush, more than Obama. And the president doing it called himself the president of peace. 7 countries, 622 strikes: Somalia, Yemen, Iraq, Syria, Nigeria, Venezuela, Iran. That's 2025. But this didn't start in 2025. The Congressional Research Service, the official research arm of Congress itself, documents nearly 500 military interventions since 1776. Iran, 1953, elected government removed for oil. Guatemala, 1954, elected government removed for a fruit company. Vietnam, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Panama, Iraq, Somalia, Libya, Syria. The justifications always change. Communism, terrorism, weapons of mass destruction, drug trafficking, Christian persecution. The attacks on Iran in 2026 are considered a violation of international law. Somalia, more strikes in 2025 than under Bush, Obama, and Biden combined. Al-Shabaab is still there, still gaining ground. The pattern is not a conspiracy. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to never be questioned. Nearly 500 interventions, $8 trillion spent, 900,000 people killed, 38 million displaced, and at every single turn, a new reason it was necessary. The justifications change, the interventions never stop. If you made it here, you just learned what they spend billions making sure you never ask about. Follow and subscribe to Hidden Pulse. We read the record they wrote and hoped you wouldn't find. America.
That was an interesting video. Replay this one.
In less than 60 seconds.
2 minutes.
Liability orders are issued with or without your knowledge. No judge, no hearing, no evidence, no record. They're processed in bulk by council officers, not courts, then passed off as judicial orders. That's not law, that's deceptive racket. Ask yourself, if this was lawful, where's the signed court order that's compliant with the civil procedure rules? Where's the seal? Where's your right to defend yourself in front of a judge and present a defense? They can't give you any of it because the process doesn't exist. It's just administrative automation pretending to be justice. where a clerk ought to only there to advise but signs off on the purported order with the justice of the peace. Nonsense. And here's what they don't want you to know. Your council tax isn't funding your community. It's being used to pay off high-interest private loan agreements called LOBOs, lender option, borrower option. These are 40 to 70-year agreement with interest rates up to 7%. Councils are locked in, and they're using your fiat currency to bail out financial institutions, not serve the public. Don't believe me? Look for yourself. Oh, and there is no regulatory body responsible overseeing its use. That's why I created the council tax bundle. Inside, you'll get the exact strategy I used to get council summons withdrawn. You may have noticed it was actually Capita that responded, a private company. What has a court process got to do with them, you may wonder? Well, it's obvious. Profit and funding, the lender option, borrower option. Inside the bundle, you'll get jurisdictional challenges, equity-based notices, DSR and process collapse templates all ready to use. You've been lied to. You've been billed without evidence, and you've been paying to fund debt you never agreed to. It's time to challenge it properly. Click the link in my bio, download the council tax bundle, and take back control over your name, your title, and your estate. No judge, no seal, no authority, just assumption. The bundle is ready. You are too.
Okay, another interesting one. Three minutes.
Believe it's time for America to start acting like America again.
Ladies and gentlemen, Trump has only just taken office and the battle has already begun. His new Attorney General, Pam Bondi, has struck fear into the traitors right from her confirmation hearing. Many Democratic senators seized the opportunity to push their agenda, grandstand, and polish their image instead of genuinely scrutinizing the incoming Attorney General. One of the most despicable among them, Adam Schiff, tried to trap Bondi, but she not only dodged his setup, but also hit back, tearing apart each of his false arguments. Watch this clip.
Let me start with one very specific, non-hypothetical. The president has said Jack Smith should go to jail. Will you investigate Jack Smith?
Senator, I haven't seen the file. I haven't seen the investigation. I haven't looked at anything. It would be irresponsible of me to make a commitment regarding anything without, you're a long practicing attorney, without looking at a file.
So you would need a factual predicate to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
Not a summary by you sitting here. Yes, sir.
Adam Schiff's first question, it wasn't about the crumbling state of national security. It wasn't about the rising crime in Democrat-run cities. It wasn't about the catastrophic failure of border policies that have flooded America with criminals and fentanyl. No. His first concern was the fate of Jack Smith, the Democratic Party's political hitman who has spent his time and the justice system's resources fabricating, smearing, and relentlessly pursuing Trump with sham prosecutions. Schiff didn't ask Bondi about her plans to restore law and order. He didn't ask how she intended to protect Americans from rampant looting and crime. He only wanted to know one thing. Will Jack Smith be investigated and imprisoned? Why is Schiff so afraid? Because he knows Jack Smith is their last line of defense. Smith orchestrated the corrupt classified documents case against Trump, deliberately twisting facts to fabricate charges. He played a key role in the Democrats' dirty games surrounding the January 6th witch hunt. And now, with Trump back, Schiff is panicking. He fears that the day of true justice is approaching, and that it's they who will soon stand trial. And Pam Bondi, unshaken, no dodging, no empty promises. She looked Schiff straight in the eye and coolly declared, "I will follow the evidence." 4 simple words, exactly what Schiff didn't want to hear. Because he knows that if justice is truly served, the evidence against him and his allies is overwhelming. He doesn't fear an honest investigation. He fears that an honest investigation will expose everything. Bondi didn't vow to go after anyone. She simply stated the truth. If there's evidence, there will be an investigation.
If you believe.
Okay, Pam Bondi there, clip. Next three is the California lady for three of them, and then
even his closest allies are telling him to get out of America because the situation for the most corrupt governor in U.S. history is so dire that federal agents could drag him to jail at any moment. That's the dream of any decent Californian who has had to endure all these years of Newsom's corruption, which turned California into what many now call the capital of fraud. I'm Fernanda Perez-Riley, and if you're not following me yet, you're going to miss what's very close to happening. For the first time, we could finally see a governor who stole billions end up in jail. Is impunity for Democrats finally over? Because here in my state, I know there are politicians from that party involved in a series of financial crimes, and some even in sexual scandals. And I like to call a spade a spade. One of them was threatened by Newsom himself when the current Speaker of the California Assembly was considering scheduling the governor's impeachment. Robert Rivas was reportedly blackmailed by Newsom with videos and photos of him with prostitutes, which is why he reversed his decision and did not schedule Newsom's removal from office. His corruption has reached levels that not even his own Democratic Party can save him from, not even his closest allies in the California legislature, who are part of the same corruption scheme that protected Newsom for years. Is Gavin Newsom going to resign as governor? Even his close life in prison for billion-dollar corruption here in California. The level of corruption in this state is extraordinary, so much so that the corrupt governor could end up behind bars for the rest of his life, making things even more complicated for his family, as his wife is reportedly considering asking for a divorce because of scandals involving money laundering using her name to open companies for the purpose of embezzling public money. Some top senators say Newsom's days of freedom are finally coming to an end. I'm Fernanda Perez-Riley, and my love, you need to hear this because justice is finally knocking on the door of these criminals who thought they were untouchable. Newsom and his entire mafia. After looting tens of billions of dollars and running money laundering schemes through so-called social programs, which were nothing more than a way for Newsom to pressure elected officials into helping divert even more money, these Democrats were handing out benefits as a cover to steal more. While Newsom was throwing a few coins at illegal immigrants and giving criminals a free pass from jail back to the streets, he was also handing out IDs in a desperate attempt to stay in power and prop up his failing government, all while embezzling huge sums from the state budget and then covering the deficit with federal funds. What could go wrong with that budget? Nothing, apparently, because all the constant tax increases hitting Californians were just meant to cover Newsom's tracks. Just look at it. Gasoline costs about $5 at gas stations here in California because of constant government increases. We are the state with the most expensive gasoline in the United States. That's why my dear Gavin Newsom could end up spending the rest of his life in prison, and we have every reason to believe that possibility is becoming very real. Senator Josh.
Okay, one more. Nancy Pelosi.
California. He asked President Donald Trump to return the millions of dollars she took from our state, saying that otherwise she might become depressed and die because, according to her, she wouldn't be able to survive on a salary of $174,000 a year, and that it's far too little for her to live on. She also said she doesn't intend to run for Congress again and plans to leave in 2027. But my friend, we're talking about an ill-gotten fortune estimated at over $200 million, which, according to the Treasury itself, after identifying suspicious transactions Pelosi laundered through companies controlled by her foundation. I'm Fernanda Perez-Riley, and my love, we are talking about a crook who received a luxury apartment as a bribe located in one of the most prestigious areas of New York in exchange for lobbying to approve billions in Congress that were later embezzled by the corrupt government of California. Many other people were involved in this and received billions of dollars in state contracts here. These are the famous phantom donors that no one has ever seen, yet Democrats received generous anonymous donations and then distributed billions of dollars in contracts to dubious companies that never actually built anything. Just look at one example. A single contract awarded by the Newsom administration spent $35 billion on the construction of a railroad where no tracks were ever seen. You won't believe what Nancy Pelosi.
Okay, our California lady does the news there. This is out of New York, you guys. You guys hear this out of New York?
Demonstrations, a protest and a counter-protest, commenced in the area of East End Avenue and East 87th Street. The initial protest, called Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City, Stop New York City Public Muslim Prayer, organized by individuals associated with far-right provocateur Jake Lang, drew approximately 20 participants. The counter-protest, Run the Nazis Out of New York City, Stand Against Hate, took place nearby with roughly 125 participants at its peak. A protester associated with the Jake Lang group used pepper spray against counter-protesters and was arrested thereafter. At approximately 12:38 p.m., a counter-protester identified as Amir Balat, an 18-year-old man, lit and threw an ignited device toward the protest area, landing in the crosswalk of East 87th Street and East End Avenue. Mr. Balat then ran southbound on East End Avenue toward 86th Street and gets a second device from a man tentatively ID'd as Ibrahim Nick, 19 years old. Mr. Balat lights the device and starts running with it. He then drops the device on the west side of East End Avenue between East 86th and East 87th Streets. Officers immediately secured the area and they took both men into custody. The bomb squad responded and examined the devices. Based on preliminary examination and X-ray imaging, the devices, which were a bit smaller than a football, appear to be a jar wrapped in black tape, importantly, with nuts, bolts, and screws, along with a hobby fuse that could be lit. At this time, we do not yet know whether the devices were functional improvised explosive devices or hoax devices, because we don't yet know if there was energetic material contained in them. At approximately.
So, another incident in New York City. Guess who's on the show?
Morning to you,
Look
too.
at you, fancy.
And it is morning, isn't it?
It is. I like the
Early.
finger, showing your fingernails. We were talking about that during the commercial break.
Very, very proud of
and your cute boots
fingernails
and the pigtails that you wore on stage.
Yeah. I have a great hairstylist, whatever you call.
Yes, ma'am.
For 25 years, and she managed to wrangle all my hair into 2 pigtails.
It looks great. How was it? You said that you were performing in Houston.
Yeah.
What was it like to be back?
It was exciting because I kind of started my stand-up. Well, I mean, I didn't start my stand-up, but I did start my big stand-up career in Houston, opening for Julio Iglesias in the Astrodome there. That was like when I really played a huge venue, 60,000 people opening for Julio in 86, I think it was. Yeah, 86.
Were you nervous?
I was overwhelmed because I never was in front of that many people before.
Right.
And they were very appreciative because they loved Julio, and it was staggering. It was great to be back in Houston and have my fans there and be back at stand up. And I was just chomping at the bit to get out there and tell my jokes.
And how did it go? What was the response?
They were so nice and it was fun. They were egging me on.
Mm-hmm.
It was great to be back on stage doing stand up with my own jokes and stuff that I had written. And I had stuff to say and I got to explain myself, which I never got to do before. So that was great.
Yeah,
fun.
you talk about that because you were canceled in 2018. Is that right?
I think it was then. Yeah.
And
yeah, it was. Yeah.
You talk about how you talk to other comics who have also been canceled.
Yeah.
And y'all have a pact with each other to say we're going to be even more offensive when we come back.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
is that? What
because
is your
we
plan?
have to be more offensive when we come back because we can't be beaten down. We can't let them kill comedy. We can't let, these people who are censors and book burners have the last say over comedy. We have to protect comedy. It's the last free speech art form. It's the major free speech art form, and it's where it's the last place you can get up and say what you want to say to the people who want to hear it and to all have a laugh together, because laughter is just a great, powerful release for people who, want that release. And, it changes things. To laugh power to scorn is the most powerful thing you can do. And we need to do that right now, I think, because everything's so ridiculous. It's hard to write a joke now since everything's so absurd and ridiculous.
Do you ever
it's
take
hard
a moment?
to write a joke
Do you
about
ever pause and say, maybe I shouldn't say this? Or do you just say, if I have that thought, let me just go with it?
Yeah, I took a long pause, like years, to go, I'm afraid to say anything in this climate. And I think everybody is. But then I'm like, hell, I'm 70 years old. When am I going to get another chance to get out there and say, hey, guys, we got to fight against this censorship and this crazy stuff that is anti-American, because America is the last place where, I always say an old Jewish woman with a big mouth like me is allowed to say this stuff, and I'm not going to let them take it away from us without, objection.
Well,
so that's why I came back.
It's great to see you back. You talk about this in your show, growing up Jewish in Salt Lake City, where it's a big Mormon community.
Yeah.
And then you moved to Texas, and you're back on stage.
And I live Hawaii too. I live Hawaii and Texas, and a little bit LA.
All right.
I get around. I got grandkids all over the place that I go visit.
Congratulations.
It's wonderful.
Welcome
Thank you.
back, Fox Nation.
Yeah. It's so wonderful. They've been so nice to me. Thank you for having me.
They're good people over there.
Absolutely.
I know.
Okay, that was a short clip with Rosanne. Jay, yeah, I saw you on Telegram there. You get some of my videos? Okay, he's taking the night off. I'm going to do the first wild one here.
You don't have to miss a moment. You've got better things to do than taxes. Have a local TurboTax expert file for you.
My grandmother was one of Michigan's first female lawyers. She taught me the importance of hard.
Here we go. 17, you guys.
But my God, why? Why are you
Yay,
going to yell and scream and make an
little
ass out of
one.
yourself in
I
public?
made
Oh
it
yeah,
nice.
I forgot. It's Walmart. People do that.
Everyone had a good weekend.
Walmart is not just a grocery store. It is also a pressure test for all of society. Because the second that you walk through those sliding automatic doors, the emotional stability is just, it's gone. It's just not there anymore. Today, we're diving into another batch of Walmart shoppers who just simply could not keep it together. And before anybody says, oh, it's just a bad day. Oh, no. This is a lifestyle.
On out my face.
What you gonna do? You gonna put your hands on me?
Because you were being right Walmart, you think it's come on?
I'm looking, I'm trying to shop.
You got me feeling real uncomfortable.
I can't look
You
at the
a
stuff.
grown-ass man standing
I can't look at the stuff.
You got me feeling uncomfortable.
She need to. I'm waiting on the manager.
Well, you can go wait on the manager.
No, I can wait right here. She got a problem.
Baby.
You don't? Swing then. Swing. Walmart employee. Yeah. Get him up. Manager over here.
You need to get her under
She needs to get fired. I got it all on camera, homie.
All that because they didn't want him to look at clearance? Seriously? Why couldn't he look at the clearance? What was the big deal? Everybody's like ganging up on him. Why? Isn't Walmart's job to sell shit? That's why they put stuff on clearance, to try to move it out. So if this guy wants to look at the clearance, why can't he look at the clearance? And they were so rude about it. Those employees were rude about it.
I don't play with grimy hoes. Bitch, you probably got that shit. That's why you ain't here doing what you're doing. You probably got that shit. I'm gonna give you a good time. You know your ass for too much. You looking for, bitch. I'm not going to play that fucking
can't tell me what I can do with my phone. You got me messed up. This lady trying to tell me I can't record. You can't stop me from recording. You cannot stop me recording.
Grimy to take somebody's purse out their bag.
You can't do nothing about me recording. I record you. You in public. You in public.
Start recording.
You in public. I record. This lady trying to tell me I can't record.
Stop recording.
I can record if I want to, lady. Hey, don't touch my phone. Don't touch my personal property.
Get away from me.
So you came to me.
6 feet.
You came to me.
Get in my way. Security, get this man.
You came to me. You can't push me out the store because I'm recording, lady. Keep your hands off my property.
Stop.
Look, you getting recorded.
Yeah, he's recording.
This lady trying to tell me I can't record.
So they can escort him out for any reason they want to, recording or not, because they have the right to refuse service if they want to. They can trespass him if they want to. Yeah, he's recording and they didn't like it, but they can kick him out and trespass him for whatever reason their heart desires. And so if he wants to be able to shop at Walmart again, he's going to have to tread lightly. But let's be honest, who wants to shop after Walmart after watching any of these videos?
Go. Security! You can't put all those people in front of you. Come on.
You cannot. How she gonna put like 3 people in front of her? This is a line. We're in a line. No, I was right here. My cart just wasn't right here. I was standing right here. My cart just wasn't right here. And I don't even know why she's right here because she's in that line. She's in another line. That's fine, but he's not getting in front of me. You're not. You're not. You're not. I don't give a what y'all talking about? Okay. She's trying to let people cut in front of her. We're not doing that. That's what we're not doing. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I don't know what her voodoo ass talking about. She better go to fucking. You stay over there. 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 You stay over there.
So, I mean, I can see how these people in line were getting pissed off. She was clearly letting people cut in front of her in line, almost like she was holding the spot. Maybe they were all shopping together. And the people that were behind her were not having it. They're like, no, they need to get in line like everybody else. I can understand why they were pissed off. And you know what? I almost commend her for standing her ground. I would have been pissed off too.
Yeah. Shut up, mother. You asked my dear for an hour. You have to get out so you can. You mother. Yeah, why? You have to get out. This is a useless person. They waste my time. What happened?
Huh? Yeah, what happened?
His oil. I leave a call 10 a.m. in this morning.
His oil change was canceled. I guess nobody ever called him. The oil filter.
Why you not call me?
I don't know why he wasn't called, but.
Why you not call me? If you call me, I'm taking that mother. Why you put like this filter?
We don't do that with real filter. You got last time where you.
Everyone talking. What is this? You know the situation. What's going on?
Yeah, I know the situation. You got a oil change your last place. You got to go back to.
Yeah, so you call me.
Yeah,
you can't have a problem. Why they don't call me?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Why they don't call me?
Why you get problem right?
Why they don't shut up, man?
Back up.
You mother. Come on, mother. Are you inside working in a warehouse? Come on.
And, can you come to tell the ASF?
You come out. I will show you this. You don't know anything and you come out, you talking.
Okay, I also understand this guy's frustration. Apparently, he was supposed to have his car worked on. They canceled his service because they didn't have an oil filter or something for his car, and nobody called him. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. I'd be pissed if I was just sitting around waiting and someone canceled. I would. But my God, why? Why are you going to yell and scream and make an ass out of yourself in public? Oh yeah, I forgot. It's Walmart. People do that.
Tweaking. She didn't even give me a chance never tweaking. To stop. You got me confused. I literally get what I need so I can continue with my order. She had a question. You didn't even give me a chance to answer your question because you taking the coffee off the shelf. I'm not dealing with that shit. Question for me. You can leave. Go y'all make easy money. Get a real job. I am at my job. No, you're not working a job. 24/7. This ain't a job. What? This ain't a job. I wake up and I carve. It ain't. It ain't. What do you do besides harass me? No, I'm not harassing. But you are. Excuse me. How hard is it for you to give me your name? I don't want to. I don't want you to have my name. I will follow you around to your supervisor. But you won't. I will. Or what you gonna do?
Because I got my bond money in my pocket. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? I got my bond money in my pocket. So, okay, now we have learned if you're going to shop at Walmart, you always carry bond money because the likelihood of you wanting to throw down is a lot higher in Walmart.
Rebound and recover with the Planet Fitness Sweat Cord.
Join and get your first month free. Deal ends March 13th.
Whether you're a professional auto technician or working in your home garage, Harbor Freight has the store.
We're halfway, 7 minutes left.
This is just one last one from the front. I'll get out of here.
I'm not even going to comment on that one. Y'all are going to say enough in the comments, I think.
So what? So what? I won't. Yes. I won't. I absolutely will not lower my voice because you're not my mother.
No, but I can't kick down the store.
So go ahead. Where you want her? Me or Walmart? You good? You all right? Yeah, I'm good. I ain't gonna leave. Yeah. I'm good. Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? No, you looked at me. I'm looking at the cat. No, you looked at me. I'm looking at you. Shut up. Get out my face. Get out my face.
My first Karen, bro.
I'm part of Walmart security. Okay, go get out my face. Don't damn me.
She mopped it off everybody.
You don't know what.
There's so much room, bro. Literally, we got the car right here. Yeah, she hitting her car all day down here.
Hey, it's my first Karen.
You're being stay in your own lane.
Because if you're gonna say grown folks anyway, bitch, you're almost 65.
I don't know you. Why are you getting my business?
Because of the way you treat them and they don't deserve it.
I haven't said anything to anybody. I'm talking to my brother.
But you cussed this lady out.
Nobody cussed anybody out, lady.
Okay, whatever. I'm in my lane.
I'll just give y'all some time to have.
I don't know this lady.
You sure don't, but I'm in my lane when you get.
No, you're not.
Call 911. My name's Renee Purdy.
Okay, Renee.
And I'm in the store waiting, so call her. I got shut the water off. These folks can't even know what. Linda, shut the water off. Linda, shut the water off. Okay? Yeah. You want to find out? I'm going by now. I don't need to calm down. I'm a little pissed off. Not about now. Are you down right? Are you moving forward? I'm not by myself. You're a minute.
Oh, where are they at?
Minute everywhere.
Okay.
My God, I need a drink of water. Linda Bottoms, Landis. Y'all don't tell me no. We'll tell y'all no, my God.
Well, I don't know what her deal was, but she seems fun.
You're now being recorded. Which way is the right way, sir?
No, we're not doing that. We're going.
Are you taking my property, sir? Are you taking my property, sir? Are you taking my property, sir?
You're gonna have to come.
Sir, please return my property. Sir, will you please return my property? Sir, will you please, will you please, don't touch me, sir. Don't touch me, sir. Will you please return my property? He told me I'm going the wrong way, sir. I'm going to my car. He said I'm going the wrong way. All I asked, which way's the right way, sir? Which way's the right way, sir, since I'm going the wrong way? I am recording, yes, sir. I told him, and I will not stop recording. Please step back. Stay out of my personal. He's got my property. Stop that recording. Stop that recording. Please back up out of my personal space. If you move forward, I will assume that you are going to assault me, and I will act properly, sir. If you assault me, I will act in my defense. Stop the recording. Please give me back my property. Stop the recording. Stop the recording. Huh?
Do you have the receipt, sir?
I do, sir.
I'm the manager. Can I see it? I'm the manager on duty.
That's fine. I just want to know which way's the right way to go, sir.
The right way. You had unpassed registers is what he meant by you.
No. I was already going to my vehicle, and he said, you're going the wrong way. So I asked him, which way's the right way, sir?
Around the belly. I just
went and got a cookie.
Let me see your receipt right now. We can be done with this, and everything will be okay. I'll get you on your way.
Here's my receipt, sir.
Can I verify it with my hands? Can I verify it?
He called the cops. We're going to go ahead and wait for the police, sir. He said he's calling the police. You just told me you were calling the police, sir. And this gentleman told me I need to leave, and he will not give me my property. He told me I'm going the wrong way.
I've built my career auditing for quality and efficiency. We operate in 67 countries around the world.
I'm waiting to find out where the right way is to go.
I've done so many videos about this, about people being falsely accused of shoplifting from Walmart, and Walmart literally coming out accusing them of shoplifting when they have made their purchases, whether it was by Walmart's pay on the app, like kind of scan as you go, pay on the app, and then you're free to leave. A lot of those situations come from Walmart's own Walmart Plus benefits. If you didn't know, and I will link the video up here in case you missed it, where I distinctly talk about the Walmart Plus benefit of being able to scan items as you shop and then pay through the app. There were so many people that pay extra for Walmart Plus to have this ability. They go through the store, they scan barcodes, they pay on the app, and they're supposed to be free to leave, but then loss prevention stops them and accuses them of stealing. It is the wildest thing. It is a feature that Walmart customers pay for. They pay to get harassed like they're shoplifters. It is wild to me. But not only that, but there are people that have a receipt they checked out with a cashier, and loss prevention still asks them for their receipt. They don't have to show it, by the way.
To check their receipt, the customer shakes their fist and says no and moves towards the exit. In this scenario, the associate should simply thank the customer and allow them to exit.
Yes, there's the whole shopkeeper's law and all of this jazz, but we've seen Walmart training videos where they distinctly say if a customer refuses to show a receipt, you let them exit the store. And there has been so many instances where Walmart employees will go out, grab the shopping cart and bring it back in and accuse people of stealing even though that they've paid. And this is just one other circumstance to add to the pile of these false accusations that we've seen in the past.
Manager, I'm asking to let me see your receipt so that I can verify this.
Verify that that is my property, no problem.
No problem, then.
I have a problem with you, sir. You have taken my property, and I would love the police to be called. You moved it more than 2 feet. I would like the police to be called, sir.
And hey, look, it looks like they verified his receipt and he was free to go. Now, I don't know if he used the pay through the app feature. Nothing was in bags, so I suspect so. But you can also pay at self-checkout without bagging anything. So that feature, not only can you pay with a card through the Walmart app itself, but you can also walk to self-checkout and scan the QR code and pay that way. And none of his things were bagged. That was probably a red flag for loss prevention. I'm not saying that loss prevention was justified in assuming that he shoplifted just because his items were not in bags. It still doesn't make it right. But people being falsely accused of shoplifting at Walmart happens a lot more than I'm sure Walmart wants us to believe it does. Okay, so what did we learn today? We learned that you shouldn't.
Okay, our YouTube lady. We got Kennedy coming up. 5 minutes.
Senator John Kennedy. Senator, welcome to the show. So I'll give you a chance to start there with what Senator Warner said. This is a war of choice.
Senator Warner, Shannon is star-spangled brilliant. On this one, he's also wrong. Our intelligence clearly showed that Iran had taken baby steps to restart its nuclear program. It was producing between 200 and 600 new missiles a month. Its plan was to stockpile enough missiles so that it could destroy the Middle East if we went back in to destroy its nuclear program. That's why I say President Trump he's not trying to start a war. He's trying to prevent a war. He tried negotiating with the Ayatollah. The Ayatollah said no to everything except lunch. What's our plan? I'll tell you what our plan is. We all heard it in the classified briefing. Our plan is to destroy the Iranian Navy, destroy the Iranian Air Force, destroy their facilities through which they're making missiles and drones, destroy the infrastructure for the Revolutionary Guard and other parts of their military. We're going to turn parts of Iran, those who are enemies, into fish food and then get out. I do not believe the president will send in troops. In fact, if he sends in troops, the thud you hear will be me face planting because I fainted. I think this will all take a matter of weeks, and after we are done, it'll be up to the good people, and they are good people of Iran, to try to overthrow these knobheads who are in charge now.
Well, all of this comes at a cost. The human cost, there's a financial cost as well, which Senator Warner touched on. And there are questions now about the administration coming to Capitol Hill with a supplemental request for this. One of your colleagues was asked about that, Senator Lisa Murkowski, who sits on the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee. She says the administration should not be taking anything for granted. If they come to us at the end of the month and say, this is what we want, and basically you deliver the votes, it's not a winning strategy, in my view. You've got to start making the case. How do you see that playing out?
Well, Senator Murkowski is my friend and colleague, but she's a minority. We're Congress, at least the Republicans in Congress, are not going to let us falter in achieving our objective because we run out of money. I think right now our military has plenty of money and they have plenty of ammunition. This business about we're running out of ammunition is foolishness. It's foolishness on a stick.
Well, before any of that gets done, I want to bring up what President Trump has just put out on Truth Social today that may affect your business there on the Hill. He praises those who are pushing the SAVE Act, which would require proof of citizenship, among other things, before you can register to vote. He goes on and says, this has to go to the front of the line. He says, I, as president, will not sign other bills until this is passed, and not the watered down version. Go for the gold. Must show voter ID and proof of citizenship. No mail-in ballots except for military, illness, disability, or travel. Then these add-ons that may come as well. No men and women's sports. No transgender mutilization, he says, for children. Do not fail. And this one was signed President Donald J. Trump, coming straight from him. How does that impact what you're doing there on the Hill? Because there's a lot of consternation from conservatives that the Senate doesn't seem like it's moving forward with the SAVE Act.
Well, the Senate is notoriously slow. Sometimes it takes us months to get nothing done. But the SAVE Act is a priority. I'm a co-author. John, I agree with everything the president said in his tweet, though I haven't seen it. John Thune has promised to bring the bill to the floor. I don't know when he's going to do that, but he is going to do that. And I anticipate it will be in the next few weeks. Will it pass? I think so. It just depends. We've got some free range. The Democrats will be against it, but we've got some free range chickens on the Republican side, and we're going to have to go gather them up.
So to get to 60, though, is the thought that this would be a reconciliation bill, so you don't have to get to the 60? Is there a single Democrat? Are there several Democrats who would vote with you on the SAVE?
I would do it through reconciliation. We could short circuit all of this, but I'm in a minority. I have chased Senator Thune, my good friend, like he stole Thanksgiving to try to get him to do a reconciliation. This would be perfect for reconciliation.
Okay. counterparts, her friend across the aisle, Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy. Senator, welcome to the show. So I'll give you a chance to start there with what Senator Warner said. This is a war of choice.
Senator Warner, Shannon is star-spangled brilliant. On this one, he's also wrong. Our intelligence clearly showed that Iran had taken baby steps to restart its nuclear program. It was producing between 200 and 600 new missiles a month. Its plan was to stockpile enough missiles so that it could destroy the Middle East if we went back in to destroy its nuclear program. That's why I say President Trump he's not trying to start a war. He's trying to prevent a war. He tried negotiating with the Ayatollah. The Ayatollah said no to everything except lunch. What's our plan? I'll tell you what our plan is. We all heard it in the classified briefing. Our plan is to destroy the Iranian Navy, destroy the Iranian Air Force, destroy their facilities through which they're making missiles and drones, destroy the infrastructure for the Revolutionary Guard and other parts of their military. We're going to turn parts of Iran, those who are enemies, into fish food and then get out. I do not believe the president will send in troops. In fact, if he sends in troops, the thud you hear will be me face planting because I fainted. I think this will all take a matter of weeks, and after we are done, it'll be up to the good people, and they are good people of Iran, to try to overthrow these knobheads who are in charge now.
Well, all of this comes at a cost. The human cost, there's a financial cost as well, which Senator Warner touched on. And there are questions now about the administration coming to Capitol Hill with a supplemental request for this. One of your colleagues was asked about that, Senator Lisa Murkowski, who sits on the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee. She says the administration should not be taking anything for granted. If they come to us at the end of the month and say, this is what we want, and basically you deliver the votes, it's not a winning strategy, in my view. You've got to start making the case. How do you see that playing out?
Well, Senator Murkowski is my friend and colleague, but she's a minority. We're Congress, at least the Republicans in Congress, are not going to let us falter in achieving our objective because we run out of money. I think right now, our military has plenty of money, and they have plenty of ammunition. This business about we're running out of ammunition is foolishness. It's foolishness on a stick.
Well, before any of that gets done, I want to bring up what President Trump has just put out on Truth Social today that may affect your business there on the Hill. He praises those who are pushing the SAVE Act, which would require proof of citizenship, among other things, before you can register to vote. He goes on and says, this has to go to the front of the line. He says, I, as president, will not sign other bills until this is passed, and not the watered down version. Go for the gold. Must show voter ID and proof of citizenship. No mail-in ballots except for military, illness, disability, or travel. Then these add-ons that may come as well. No men and women's sports. No transgender mutilization, he says, for children. Do not fail. And this one was signed President Donald J. Trump, coming straight from him. How does that impact what you're doing there on the Hill? Because there's a lot of consternation from conservatives that the Senate doesn't seem like it's moving forward with the SAVE Act.
Well, the Senate is notoriously slow. Sometimes it takes us months to get nothing done. But the SAVE Act is a priority. I'm a co-author. John, I agree with everything the president said in his tweet, though I haven't seen it. John Thune has promised to bring the bill to the floor. I don't know when he's going to do that, but he is going to do that. And I anticipate it will be in the next few weeks. Will it pass? I think so. It just depends. We've got some free range. The Democrats will be against it, but we've got some free range chickens on the Republican side, and we're going to have to go gather them up.
So to get to 60, though, is the thought that this would be a reconciliation bill, so you don't have to get to the 60? Is there a single Democrat? Are there several Democrats who would vote with you on the SAVE?
I would do it through reconciliation. We could short circuit all of this, but I'm in a minority. I have chased Senator Thune, my good friend, like he stole Thanksgiving to try to get him to do a reconciliation.
Okay, I think I might have played that twice, you guys. Sorry about that. One minute.
Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 3855 AN. Today's date is March 8th, 2026, and the title of the episode is It's All About the Control of Energy. Crypto and blockchain are now national security priorities. Central banks cause inflation, and that is a threat to you, your savings account, your retirement. Ask yourself an honest question. Does your dollar go as far as it did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even last year? So what does the next decade look like for you and your savings? If your portfolio lacks exposure to gold, one of history's most reliable economic hedges, it's time to rethink your strategy. Gold has kept up with inflation and in many periods outpaced it. My friends at Noble Gold Investment specialize in helping people protect their wealth with physical gold and silver. Whether you're rolling over an IRA or making a direct purchase, their team walks you through the entire process and makes it very simple. No pressure, just education and experience. Right now, all new qualified accounts will receive a free 1/10 of an ounce American Gold Eagle as a thank you. Visit x22gold.com. That is x22gold.com, and discover how easy it is to protect your financial future. Or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, the private West Central Bank, the World Economic Forum, you can see they are continually moving with the deep state, the central bank green agenda. And basically what we're going to see as time goes on is that the EU is going to completely and utterly implode under this agenda. And what people are going to see is that the United States is going to do very, very well, because we're doing the opposite of what the deep state central bank World Economic Forum is trying to do. And when you look at the EU, you can see they're doing just that. The EU has just signed off on a legally binding target to cut 90% of emissions by 2040, an economic suicide pact. It guarantees a contraction of consumption right in line with the UN's Agenda 2030. And basically, you could see at this point in time is that they're heading down a path of no return if they continue going down this path. Now, what's going to be very, very interesting is because Merz from Germany went to China, and now he's kind of siding with Trump right now. And maybe Germany decides to backtrack on all this, because when Germany looks at their production, looks at what they've been doing, they're realizing that solar, wind, removing the nuclear plants, getting rid of coal-fired plants, getting rid of gas, getting rid of everything does not help their country whatsoever. And they could see a lot of manufacturers are moving out of Germany and moving to other countries. So let's see how this plays out. But we could see if the EU and the EU countries, and not every single one of them, but a majority of them, if they follow this path, it's going to be game over for all of them. And this is what Trump and the Patriots are stopping right now. Because Trump, I think we all saw that the deep state players, the central bankers, they were shifting everything to China. Everything was going to be moved out of Europe, moved out of the United States. Both of these regions were going to be something like a third world type of country or countries. And basically all production was going to be in China. And China was going to be in control of everything. And you could see that Trump now is basically shutting this all down and is actually using energy against the deep state, the central bankers, because he knows that the more energy you have, the more control of the energy, the better your economy.
And I do believe this is why he shut down Venezuela, shut off all the cheap oil to China. Then it went into Iran. Yes, there's many different agendas associated with it. But if you look at the energy aspect of it, you could see now he's gaining control of the energy distribution, production in Iran. And once again, you can see that by doing this, Trump is going to control the market, which is going to bring cheap energy to the world, which is going to make oil prices go way, way down. Now, of course, at this point in time, you could see people are panicking because they've seen fuel prices go up a little bit. But you have to remember, under Biden administration, they went up quite a bit, a lot more than Trump. And Trump is not really worried about this because he understands once we take control over Iran, and once we have control of the distribution through the Strait of Hormuz, once we have the control of the distribution from Iran, and once they're no longer a terrorist state, the entire Middle East completely and utterly changes, which means cheap oil is going to flood the market. And he knows that the price of oil is going to drop dramatically. Now, do I think this is going to take 8 months, 9 months? No, I think it's going to happen in a very, very short period of time. And you have to remember, everything that Trump is doing right now is something the deep state players never wanted anyone to see. They never wanted anyone to see how strong the United States is and how these wars don't have to last forever. And you can see that Iran, most likely what they were trying to do is they were trying to basically cut off the world and, keep this going for a long time and hopefully strangle the world of oil. And this is why Trump stepped in and decided, you know what, we'll insure every single boat that sails through the Strait of Hormuz. We will protect every single boat with the military. And this is actually going against everything that Iran is trying to do because they want a long, drawn-out war. This is not going to happen. And we're going to see everything begin to change. But you could see over the time period of the Biden administration / Obama, basically the job numbers were fake. They caused inflation. They were pushing the entire country into the Green News scam, which means oil prices were rising. And he used the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to make it seem like everything is fine, even though it wasn't. Remember, Trump filled it up. Biden basically used that oil to maintain the oil prices, to keep everyone in their illusion that, hey, everything's fine, gas is still affordable, and you have nothing to worry about. Meanwhile, in the background, they were trying to bring us into the Green New Agenda. And you could see that Trump continually called him out on that. Now people could see it very, very clearly. And Trump now is basically filling up the strategic oil reserves. Once again, David Blackmon put this out and said, for all those fake know-it-alls, especially you in the media, who want to blame Trump for the depleted condition of the SPR, the facts are illustrated below. Joe Biden reduced it by a net of 240 million barrels of oil and damaged some of the underground caverns by pulling out and diminishing internal pressures too rapidly. Trump has added about 30 million barrels back over the last year, despite all the technical issues caused by the Biden abuse. That's the truth about the SPR. All else is smelly BS. The withdrawals during the first Trump term were forced by Congress and stupid programs to mask its out-of-control spending habits. So don't even try to go there. Chris Mart says the maximum rate at which crude oil can be added to the SPR is approximately 100,000 barrels a day, 3 million per month, due to pipeline constraints. But the SPR can be depleted at a rate of approximately 4.4 million barrels a day because it was designed to provide a rapid emergency supply during oil disruptions. The SPR holds a little over 700 million barrels of crude oil. At maximum rates, it would take 7 to 8 years to fill up from its current levels. Anyone with an IQ higher than a pumpkin understands that it cannot be done overnight, but the SPR has gradually been refilling since the drawdown ended. The leftards suggest otherwise must take an hour and a half to watch 60 Minutes. So basically, yes, Trump is refilling it. Biden.
Ladies, make a recipe of oatmeal, chia, yogurt, and this ingredient from the refrigerator. That is the $2.
Put us in a very, very dangerous area. And you could see at this point in time that Trump now is, as he's refilling it, he's also going to be using oil from other places to do so. And remember, and Peter Sayong put this out, only 2% of our oil comes from the Persian Gulf. All this noise is Asians lining up to buy West Texas crude. So basically, most of our oil we produce here in this country. We don't get it from Iran. A lot of the Asian countries, Europe gets it from there. And basically, the United States, we're really not affected. Now, yes, there is noise, there is war. And of course, the way they have it structured in the globalist system, it does affect the oil price. Is this going to last for a very long time? I don't believe it will be. Peter Sayong put this out and said, some perspective on gas prices. Trump shut down the entire Middle East and gas went from $2.98 to $3.41. Biden got gas to $5.01 armed with nothing but a couple of trillion of federal waste and fraud. That is absolutely true. And when they asked Trump about central banks cause inflation, and that is a threat to you, your savings account, your retirement. Ask yourself an honest question. Does your dollar go as far as it did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even last year? So what does the next decade look like for you and your savings? If your portfolio lacks exposure to gold, one of history's most reliable economic hedges, it's time to rethink your strategy. Gold has kept up with inflation and in many periods outpaced it. My friends at Noble Gold Investment specialize in helping people protect their wealth with physical gold and silver. Whether you're rolling over an IRA or making a direct purchase, their team walks you through the entire process and makes it very simple. No pressure, just education and experience. Right now, all new qualified accounts will receive a free 1/10 of an ounce American Gold Eagle as a thank you. Visit x22gold.com. That is x22gold.com and discover how easy it is to protect your financial future. Or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. The oil and the oil prices. Trump says, I have no concerns about it. They'll drop very rapidly when this is over. And if they rise, they rise. But this is far more important than having gasoline prices go up a little bit. And he's absolutely right. Because once again, when this is all said and done, which I do believe is going to happen in a very short period of time, I'm going to say it's going to happen way before the midterms. I wouldn't be surprised if this is all said and done in the next couple of weeks. And basically, once this occurs and we have control of the Strait of Hormuz and we have a different government in Iran, and Iran now is cooperating with all the other Middle Eastern countries, and now other countries can get this oil, and oil is now flooding the market. And remember, there's no barriers, there's no war, there's no fear or anything like that. And we control the Strait of Hormuz. We're ensuring the ships and defending the ships through the Strait of Hormuz. You're going to see oil prices drop like we've never seen before. And this is what Trump knows. He knows what is coming. This is why he's not concerned about this. Even if it goes up 30, 40, 50, 60 cents, it's not the same as Biden. And Trump dropped the oil quite a bit. So basically, he kind of mitigated this during this period of time. But I do believe once this is all said and done, we're going to see oil drop quite a bit. And it's going to be very, very low, lower than it was before the war. And you know what's going to happen as we get closer and closer to the midterms? People are going to forget about the oil prices shooting up a little bit during the first part of the year. All they're going to see is the oil prices going down and down and down. And people are going to start to realize, yeah, you know something? This is a good thing. And now I could fill up my car very cheaply. Electricity is a lot less. Heating my home is a lot less. And things are really looking good. Plus, he's doing this because you have to remember what's coming back to the United States. It's manufacturing. We need cheaper energy for manufacturing. So how do you do that? Well, you need control of the energy sector. You need to make sure there's no nations holding this back. You need to make sure that there's no terrorists out there holding this back. You need to remove the deep state, the central bank system. That's what you have to do. And that's what we're seeing right now. Trump is undoing everything the deep state has done. Remember, they put a lot of this into place to do what? To drive us away from oil, to drive us into wind, to drive us into solar, to drive us in a completely and utterly different direction. Now Trump is bringing us back. And while he's doing this, he's prepping this country so it can go back to sound money. And this is why he's focusing on stable coins. This is why he's focusing on cryptocurrency. This is why he's focusing on blockchain. Soon you're going to start to realize he's focusing also on precious metals. Now, I do believe he's saving that for last because once again, he doesn't want to tip off the deep state, the central bank, which I think they already know what's coming. But again, he plays the long game here, and he tries to keep the deep state, the central bankers in the dark and focused on something else while he does things in the background. But think about what he put out. He put out the cyber strategy for America, and part of it is to sustain superiority in critical and emerging technology. Jason Lowery put this out and said, supporting cryptocurrency and blockchain technology is now officially an emerging technology priority in the U.S. presidential cyber strategy. So the document highlights the cyberspace originated in America and is integral to national security, economy, and daily life. It rejects incremental measures in favor of direct, proactive response, including offensive cyber operations. Key themes include protecting freedom of expression, outcompeting authoritarian technologies, modernizing systems, and fostering public-private partnership. And here are the 6 policy pillars, and this is the strategy. Deploy defensive and offensive cyber operations to detect and defeat threats before they breach U.S. systems, erode adversaries' capabilities using all instruments of national power, counter surveillance states, uproot cybercrime, and impose consequences. Streamline regulations to reduce burdens, enhance agility against evolving threats, and protect American privacy. Avoid costly checklists that hinder response and innovation. Accelerate updates with best practices like post-quantum cryptography, zero-trust architecture, AI-powered tools. Prioritize hardening sectors like energy, finance, telecom, data centers, and healthcare. Secure innovation by building privacy-focused technology, supporting cryptocurrencies and blockchain, adopting post-quantum cryptography and secure quantum computing. Protect the AI stack. Implement AI for cyber defense and counter foreign AI platforms. Invest in cyber workforce as a strategic asset. So basically, you could see that this is all revolved around cybersecurity, crypto, blockchain, making sure that this is a priority. Why would he be doing this at this point in time? Because I do believe when we go back to sound money and we start turning towards Bitcoin, turning towards stablecoin, we need to make sure that these technologies are protected. And we need to make sure that everything is ready to go when we start to shift to sound money. And you can see this is exactly what is happening right now. And you can see that Trump is preparing the entire country for all of this. And the other thing that's very interesting is you can see that Trump now is reversing everything that the Biden administration have done. And they have been destroying, I'm talking about Biden and / Obama, they've been destroying our way of life. They've been pushing the Green New Scam, the cyber bank agenda. And Trump now has been reversing all of this. And Trump, he put this out on Truth. He said, this is coming from Stephen Moore, new Unleash Prosperity study, 401k balance under Trump saw an inflation-adjusted gain of $20,715.1% for American workers. By contrast, during the 4 years of the Biden administration, the average 401k saw a crushing 24,800 real loss, minus 15.3%. Aggregate 401k balances topped 10 trillion for the first time in history, signaling a broad-based recovery from the Biden slump. 6 out of 10 of Americans have IRA or 401k accounts. And think about what Trump is doing right now. Everything the deep state, the central bankers have been trying to do where they've been stealing our wealth, Trump is returning the wealth to the people every step of the way. And this will just accelerate as time goes on. And what we'll see is that your buying power, your wealth, Trump is...
Drinking warm water with cinnamon before bed eliminates this parasite from the pancreas and resets blood sugar levels and reverses.
If you eat butter daily, this is what happens to your eyes. Take a look at these 2 retina scans. They both look sharp, focused, and healthy, but only
going to be returning it to the people. That's the whole point of this. In the meantime, he'll be basically creating the foundation for the new money system. Because again, if we're bringing in money from the outside externally, and we're replacing the private West central bank system, number one, Trump has to return the wealth to the people. Number 2, he has to protect the wealth of the people. Number 3, he has to protect and set up the structure of the sound money system. Can we just go back to gold and silver the way it was? No, because in the long run, what will happen? The central banks will try to use this once again. They've done this for thousands of years. They know how gold and silver work. So I do believe along the way, Trump is going to be looking stablecoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and everything else together with gold and silver to protect it in the long run. And this is how we can maintain sound money, a sound money system in this country. Plus, once we get control of the House and the Senate, this will then allow us to basically set up the laws that we need to make sure the central bank system never comes back into existence. And we can actually then move the country into maybe adding another amendment to remove some of the amendments that we have and actually setting up an amendment, making sure that a central bank system never comes into existence. Because again, remember, this is the third one in this country. We already got rid of the other two. We're in the process of getting rid of one of the biggest ones we've ever seen in our lifetime. And this central bank system is not just here in this country, but it's across the globe. So to bring us back to the sound money, Trump is setting up the entire structure step by step and making sure that it's secure and the deep state players and no other entity can actually affect it. And you can see once this starts to occur, I do believe what he's going to do then, he's going to start to bring in the idea that, hey, let's see how much gold we have. Hey, do we have enough gold? Should we revalue the price of gold? Because remember, gold is net valued at $42 an ounce right now, and if you look at what it really is, well, not what it really is, what they're reporting right now, which is 5,000. What it really is, I think it's closer to 15 to 20,000 when you remove the paper market. And I do believe at the right time, at the right moment, you'll be actually, putting out this narrative. And this is when you'll know that we're moving in a completely different direction. And you'll start to understand that the foundation is built, prepared, and ready to go. And we're moving into a completely new age, the golden age. And I do believe he's calling the golden age because we're going to be using gold. We're going to be using stablecoins. We're going to be using crypto. We're going to use blockchain to actually create and actually protect the real money. And this will allow us to separate ourselves from the central bank system and move in a completely different direction. And once people see this, once people understand that the central bank system has been taking our wealth and we've been having to work harder and harder over time, the people will start to realize what's happening. And once that occurs, everything changes. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.
Okay, that was today's X2 report. My next one's going to be, there is a video about Kansas City's airport today. Benny has one. There's 8 minutes. I got another new Antarctica, 11 minutes, and a couple other ones.
Soaking the sniffles.
We hate being right about these things, but a week ago we said be prepared for more attacks on the homeland. Just this week, we have now seen multiple terror threats, some rather horrifying, like, for instance, this Southwest flight that was supposed to land in Nashville. They got diverted to Atlanta because one of the passengers got up and started screaming that he's going to blow up the flight. He's going to blow up the plane. And you can see everybody raising their hands as men in tactical gear come tearing through the airplane and take a man who looks like he's of Middle East descent. I don't really know. He hasn't been identified from the flight. Apparently this individual was screaming, "I have a bomb and I'm going to blow up this plane." Well, we're back again, ladies and gentlemen, with another crisis inside of an airport, mainly because we live in a time when there are people that literally are bombing U.S. embassies. For instance, this just happened. In the last 24 hours, Norwegian police are investigating a bombing at the U.S. embassy. It damaged the embassy. It filled the entire embassy with smoke. In Norway, crazy, right? In Norway, you can see, obviously, Norway is really suffering from their diversity, really thriving on their diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's like the same thing in Manhattan where these two just brilliant scholars here have been now federally charged. Apparently, these individuals did, in fact, hurl true explosive devices. Ibrahim Nick and Amir Balat, 18 and 19 years old, they threw glass bottles filled with nuts, bolts, screws, nails, and so on, with a fuse, and they were real explosive devices. They yelled Allahu Akbar as they chucked these explosives, and now you can see them, and it's just such geniuses. There's like 4K cameras rolling in every direction, throwing them at a black cop. So is this a hate crime now? I mean, hopefully. Anyway, the point is that this has now been confirmed. And so if somebody says they have a bomb, then you need to believe them, because this is literally happening. It's happening on tape now. It's happening in 4K. You can see it right here. An important reminder that all the headlines are wrong, by the way. They weren't. Everyone says they were bombing Gracie Mansion, where Zoran Mandami lives. It's the exact opposite. They were bombing anti-Islam protesters, right-wing protesters, and these are Islamic extremists, and they were trying to bomb the anti-Islam protesters, not the other way around. They got it all twisted. Everyone's getting this twisted. Anyway, the point is, this was a twisted headline also from today. Airport evacuated. Kansas City International Airport evacuated. Passengers flee out of tarmac. Bags grounded. Why? Bomb scares. Same thing. Same thing as what happened earlier in the week here with the Southwest flight. This is the exact same operation. There was a multiple massive bomb threats to the actual airport itself. Let's read. Kansas City International was evacuated. Thousands and thousands of travelers fled through the runways of Kansas City. Wild scenes. I'll show you that in just a second. The FBI says was a bomb threat. Confused and terrified passengers carrying bags through the tarmac following reports of a potential threat inside of the airport. The Midwest hub statement on X, FBI Director Kash Patel says the threat was reviewed and the terminal was swept, cleared, normal operations then resumed. This is a federal crime, he says, and law enforcement partners will investigate to see who is responsible. Just after 3 p.m., the airport provided an update. You can see here all of the people walking out the terminal on the runway, on the tarmac. You know, it's crazy because we saw this same footage. What a wild week it's been. When Mexico collapsed, right? When they killed the cartel leader. Mexico collapsed. People inside of the Kansas City airport just like wandering about the tarmac, right? Wandering out onto the actual tarmac. Again, I was like, man, it's crazy in Mexico because look at these post-apocalyptic scenes of people running on the airport tarmac. Well, here we are in Kansas City. Man, it's crazy. Yeah, eerie sight here at MCI. That's the airport code for Kansas City. Everybody said that there was a bomb scare. So there's actually 3 bomb threats that were called in at the exact same time. People say they were going to blow up the plane, that there was a bomb in the terminal.
3 minutes.
And so on. This is what it looked like.
We're going to 9 o'clock, you guys. 9 o'clock.
We're leaving the terminal. People are just like, they're telling people just get out and stand on the tarmac. So, I mean, obviously, you could see the trend line here and what they are trying to do. Pair this with the actual terrorist attack in New York, the actual terrorist attack in Texas this past week, leaving 2 Texans dead. So the credible bomb threat, all planes are being swept.
You gotta have the best to be the best.
If you can't catch your breath and treatments aren't working, you have mucus plugs, dense blockages suffocating your airways like corks.
Triggered by a bomb threat, police and bomb sniffing dogs are going through the terminals. You can see this. All flights into and out of the airport have been grounded. I mean, it's incredibly disruptive and like costs, of course, the airlines a lot of money in order to do this, right? Like, and so like to stop all flights in and out, it's like completely disrupts travel. So even if you're not like actually taking some, you know, you're not like, you don't have a real bomb, you're like massively disrupting and causing loss with travel and the travel systems here in this country. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep an eye on this. Obviously, like we're going to continue to report once again. Here we go. Update on the Kansas City airport threats. Law enforcement partners quickly responded to the scene. Thank you to our federal partners for the coordination at Department of Transportation. The threat was reviewed, determined not to be credible. Terminal swept cleared normal operations. Threats like these are a federal crime. FBI and law enforcement partners will fully investigate and bring justice to those responsible. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Secretary Duffy saying the same. All right. I mean, it's like just, again, a time to keep your head on a swivel. It's a time to train. It's a time to like be smart when you're traveling. The new supreme leader of Iran is elected. It's the Ayatollah's son, as Iran says it is not seeking a ceasefire. We'll see how long that lasts. It's his kid. So they have a new supreme leader. Yikes. Anyway, we'll see what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. It's crazy.
Okay, Benny on that report out of Kansas City. 11-minute one coming up.
We're going to have another look at Antarctica. There's some interesting places to explore there, so let's go. First up is these strange structures lined up.
This
I'm
just
not quite
came
sure
out.
what they are. They do look rather weird. And if we zoom right in, it looks like a couple of them contain red lights. Very odd. Some kind of comm system or other electronic devices, beacons of some sort. If we stay in this area but look back at the historical images, then we see this rather strange scene. Tracks and markings in the snow and what appears to be blood. Kind of looks like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What could this be? Could the red stuff be red diesel or some other chemical? It's all rather strange. Then back to the present day and the towers. So let's have a look at this patch here. There's some red shapes,
Sorry about
which
that.
are actually ruins. If we go back in time, we can see a base here with several buildings.
Pretty interesting, you guys.
Some kind of pink rocks there and a yellow pool. And if we come back to the present, it definitely looks to be abandoned. So let's look at something else. This place just looks a bit odd, with a dark shadow and strange pastel colours.
Thanks, Michael.
Kind of makes me think of ice cream. Now, let's look over here. and we have what appears to be steps in the rock, just some kind of random steps going up the side of a mountain. What could they be? Next, we're going to have a look at this strange formation in the rock, which looks like a fish. It's probably just natural, but it definitely has a fishy shape, and also a dolphin-shaped rock is there next to it. Here's some interesting formations in the ice, which some people believe to be a spacecraft of some sort. But I think it's probably just natural ice formations. The shape is just too uneven. Next, we have another strange ice formation, all perfectly natural, I'm sure, but it does look rather cool, with some vibrant blue coloration. Here we have some tracks in the ice. Again, probably just a natural phenomenon, but it does look rather interesting. Next, we're going back to the site of what people claim is a crashed UFO with tanks. I'm not sure about that, but if we go back in time and look at his historical images there, definitely been a fair bit of activity in the area. Some stuff going on there. And here we have what seems to appear to be tanks. Then back to the present day.
I bet.
Over here is a base, and the historical images show that it goes all the way back to at least 1993. So there's been activity in this area for a long time. So now let's look at some strange shapes in the ice. Here we have a square right angle of ice which looks kind of odd. And over here, a very uniform square patch in the ice. Over here is another hole in the ice, which looks kind of interesting too. Let's have another look at the famous face. It does look cool. And if we measure it, it's very large at about 800 meters by 550. we go back and look at the historical images, it seems like these markings have been there for some time, which is strange, as I would have thought they might have been covered by fresh snow or blown away by the wind. Maybe there's something underneath there. So let's have another look at this strange cave entrance with the steps. It's about 45 meters high and about 55 meters wide. But it doesn't show up on the historical images and is covered by snow. Next we have another hole. Looks like a kind of chasm going into the depths of the earth. Here is a random orange boat, and it looks like a small base over here where it is headed to. I mean, it must be kind of strange being out there in the middle of nowhere. Some cool patterns in the snow here. Perfectly natural, I'm sure, but looks rather interesting, like leopard print. There's some very cool geology in Antarctica. And over here we have a nice rock which someone has photographed. Looks a bit like Ayers Rock in Australia.
Australia.
I hope you enjoyed our tour of Antarctica. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe.
Thought that was interesting. Yeah, that was a new one that just came out on Antarctica. I'm going to try to get 4 more in. We'll do the short ones last. This one's 15.
Power reclining sofas from Flexsteel and the Drew and Jonathan collection. Flexible, comfortable, and built to last. Save an extra 30% during Gardner White's President's Day sale.
I also expect our officers to intervene if it's safe to do so to protect our residents when they witness federal officers using unnecessary force.
New York City.
Okay, so that was the mayor of Everett, Washington. And like you just heard, she said she expects her police officers to intervene against federal agents if police officers witness unnecessary use of force. And that's just one response from the mayor of Everett as far as her recent list of responses, according to the city's website. Everett mayor outlined city response to immigration enforcement.
The bill adds a list of qualifications to become a sheriff or police chief here in the state of Washington. But the real controversial piece here is that it also gives an appointed state board the ability to pull a law enforcement certification from a sheriff or police chief, effectively removing them from office.
So since we're in the state of Washington, we have to talk about this story because it's starting to go viral, and I'm very curious what you guys think. Washington House has now passed a bill giving state board power to remove an elected sheriff. And one of the responses from a sheriff, instead of making it easier to recall any elected official for misconduct, which I have openly supported, Washington is sending a clear message that only sheriffs are capable of committing serious misconduct. And let me tell you something, this sheriff is not messing around, calling out people for bribery, stalking their ex-girlfriends. We'll get into that. But let's first talk about Everett, Washington. And just so you are aware, here is Seattle, and north of Seattle is Everett. Okay, so here's the mayor going over her directive. And yes, ICE has responded. We'll get to that in a second as well. And they're not happy.
As we're all aware, federal immigration enforcement is causing real fear for Everett residents. It's been heartbreaking to see the racial profiling that's having an impact on Everett families and businesses. We know there are kids staying home from school, people not going to work, or people not going about their day, dining out, or shopping for essentials. Therefore, I'm directing staff to take a series of actions that respond to immigration enforcement, informed by community partners and people with lived experience in an effort to keep our residents safer.
This is the first thing we have to point out. One thing we are really starting to see, it's a lot more common, is partnering with community partners. So non-government officials now working with government officials as far as how to respond to ICE or federal agents conducting deportation operations. If this was 2025, this would be massive news. Nowadays, it's a lot more common, especially in states like Washington and Oregon, California, more so these sanctuary jurisdictions.
Today, I'm issuing a mayoral directive that covers 4 areas. The first, city internal policy review, training, and preparation. We are going to establish an interdepartmental response team that will mandate all city departments review and update internal policies related to immigration enforcement, ensure compliance with state law, provide staff training on privacy, facility access, and enforcement notification protocols.
Okay, so let's stop right there. There will be an entire department which is dedicated to talking about the ICE response, how to train for ICE, and going over ICE procedures. And really, this would involve anybody with deportations, because it's not only ICE involved with these deportations, there are other elements as well.
We will also ensure that the IT department provides ongoing cybersecurity oversight for all camera systems deployed for public safety. The second initiative of this directive is collaboration with stakeholders and business support. This effort will focus on building partnerships with community leaders, advocacy groups, and regional governments to coordinate response to immigration enforcement. To be clear, we already have really strong relationships with these organizations, but I just want to be very specific about it as it relates to immigration. Our team will promote immigrant-owned businesses, and we'll provide resources for workplace protections and know your rights education. The third initiative is control and access to city property. I am directing staff to restrict federal immigration enforcement agents from accessing non-public areas of city-owned facilities without a warrant.
Okay, so this alone would probably catch the Trump administration's attention. But as of right now, no super high Trump official has talked about this. I haven't seen any lawsuits directly going in on this specific action. But one thing I do know is that the Trump administration, they are cracking down on these directives as far as being okay with not working with ICE. You're not going to get in trouble for that, but you can get into legal trouble when you start telling your staff to tell ICE to stay out of here. You cannot come onto city property or into city property.
Requiring immediate reporting of enforcement activity on city property and mandating clear signage on city property to enforce access limitations. And the fourth part of this directive is renewing our commitment to constitutional policing and best practices. We are reaffirming Everett Police Department's compliance with state law prohibiting participation in civil immigration enforcement. To be clear, we do not participate in civil immigration enforcement. My directive outlines protocols for documenting interactions with federal immigration officials, ensures legal review of records requests, and
remount and recover with the Planet Fitness Black Cord.
Join and get your first month free. Deal ends March 13th.
Spring, the unofficial new year for tool people. A time to start new jobs and tackle new.
Emphasizes safety, privacy safeguards, and audits for technologies. This directive takes effect immediately. Everett is a safe and welcoming and inclusive community. Our focus has always been to keep everybody in our community safe and to maintain trust with our residents.
And here's the big
We
one.
want everyone in the city of Everett to feel safe calling 911 when they need help, and to know that Everett Police will not ask about your immigration status. I also expect our officers to intervene if it's safe to do so to protect our residents when they witness federal officers using unnecessary force.
Okay, so that's a pretty big deal because now the burden goes on the local police to figure out whether or not a federal agent is using unnecessary force. But here's the thing, and this is what we're learning with Homeland Security. They have their own rules and policies, and of course they have to follow the Constitution. How would the local police know if federal agents are to use tear gas or not tear gas, or know what ICE's policies are, or maybe even the Federal Protective Services if they're defending a building from protesters who go above and beyond crossing into an agitator? This puts a heavy burden on the local police to possibly do something that might not end well. But here's the thing. Local police do have the obligation, and in most policies, local police can arrest other police if they see their fellow police officer, abusing or going above and beyond what they're supposed to be doing. Where this gets into the gray area is that contextually speaking, this is all within the context of immigration enforcement responses. So as I'm listening to this as a viewer, I have to understand this as if we're talking about ICE agents or people protesting against ICE agents and a police officer seeing a federal officer doing something that they deem is overly aggressive. So here's the thing. The Everett Police Department is not a very high-profile police department as far as being in the national spotlight. But if there's one police department that is pretty well known, that is the LAPD, the Los Angeles Police Department. And you're about to watch a recent clip of the LA Police Department chief saying, we're not going to be enforcing California's mask ban because of this.
The reality of one armed agency approaching another armed agency to create conflict over something that would be a misdemeanor at best or an infraction, it doesn't make any sense.
So even the LA police chief is recognizing it could create conflict if you have one armed agency versus another armed agency, even though the LA Police Department does not agree with what ICE is doing. They don't agree with the deportation actions. The LA Police Department is recognizing the burden goes on them as far as having to approach federal agents and arrest them over a mask ban. And now the mayor of Everett, she is asking her police department to step in and intervene if police officers, they deem that there are aggressive actions being used by federal agents, which again puts the burden on the police to go out of their way to stop the conflict. So ICE is not happy about this. Here's their official response. Cassie Franklin, mayor of City of Everett, Washington, escalates tension and directs city law enforcement to intervene with ICE operations at their own discretion, putting everyone at greater risk. She also directs city workers to impede ICE operations and expose the location of ICE officers and agents, working against ICE forces, federal teams into the community searching for criminal illegal aliens released from local jails, increasing the federal presence. Working with ICE reduces the federal presence. So leave your comments down below if you heard anything about this. Also, make sure to please subscribe to my channel because we cover stuff like this all the time, especially stories that really tend to slide under the radar. I was tracking the story for a while. I was waiting to see if it would make it to the mainstream. It has not, and now I am posting about it. I have like 10 other stories I am keeping close to me and waiting to see whether or not the mainstream will report on it. So make sure to please subscribe because you never know what you're going to get in a T-Sply video. Okay, let's move on to this sheriff story.
But maybe that has to happen in order for the citizens of Washington State to say that is overreach, that's too much.
Tonight on Olympia Watch, lawmakers have passed a controversial bill giving the state more power over county sheriffs. Today, several sheriffs spoke out against a proposal saying it sets standards that state legislators won't even hold themselves to. KOMO's Jeremy Harris reports on the party line vote that passed the bill and how sheriffs say they plan to push back if the state attempts to remove them.
And pushing back is an understatement because, again, we'll get to some of the statements, and man, they are pushing back hard. They're calling people out.
The bill adds a list of qualifications to become a sheriff or police chief here in the state of Washington. But the real controversial piece here is that it also gives an appointed state board the ability to pull a law enforcement certification from a sheriff or police chief, effectively removing them from office.
Okay, so that's a huge detail, and I do think there might be some lawsuits or legal battles here very soon, because here's what's happening. Washington can create their own board and they can put whoever they want on the board on the state side. And these people can then say, hey, an elected official, a sheriff, you can't be a sheriff anymore. Non-elected people telling elected people you cannot be elected.
Met with swift pushback from some who say this is hypocrisy coming from Olympia, and they plan to fight back if the state comes for their jobs.
We are taking away the right of the people to select and elect their own county sheriff.
Into the early morning, Republican lawmakers spoke for hours about why they believe the new sheriff oversight bill is bad for Washington.
It abrogates the voice of the people of the counties.
But in a vote along party lines, the Democrat-controlled House approved the proposal, sending it to Governor Bob Ferguson. The bill gives the state's Criminal Justice Training Commission the power to decertify sheriffs and police chiefs for misconduct. Supporters say it sets standards and provides accountability for law enforcement leaders. Opponents argue it consolidates power to Olympia.
It's designed to be weaponized.
No, I'm not worried for my job.
Sheriff Keith Swank believes he is in the crosshairs of the bill.
This is about things that I said that the left doesn't like. Democrats don't like. They want to silence me and shut me up.
Swank.
So this sheriff is straight up saying this is clearly political. And look, it looks like he's not afraid.
Has been known to say controversial things on social media, especially for his posts on transgender issues, all of which he stands by.
Maybe that has to happen in order for the citizens of Washington State to say that is overreach, that's too much.
And look, being a sheriff is a very unique position because depending on where you are in the country, like you're seeing right here, some sheriffs are very outspoken and you hear about them all the time. Like I hear about sheriffs all the time down in Florida. And it's almost as if they're like on the national spotlight because of the things they're saying. And then you have other sheriffs that you never heard of. But again, this is a unique position. These are elected sheriffs.
Even if I don't like Swank, I don't want him removed from office because of what he said, because that could happen to somebody else who I agree with. Maybe this needs to happen. Maybe they need to decertify me and try to remove me from office so that we can have this fight.
Sheriff Swank says he is prepared to fight this bill in court if needed. There's also been other responses from sheriffs around the state, which you can read on this story right now up on comonews.com.
Yeah, let's go ahead and read one of the responses. Okay, and here is Sheriff Sanders. Here's what he has to say. And by the way, not connected to him, don't know him, no affiliation. The state of Washington has passed the sheriff removal without your permission bill, a piece of legislation that will now allow a non-elected state-appointed board to remove elected sheriffs from office without voter approval, with no guardrails in place to determine what constitutes removal in the future. Instead of making it easier to recall any elected official for misconduct, which I have openly supported, Washington is sending a clear message that only sheriffs are capable of committing serious misconduct. Unless you're a lawmaker that harasses subordinates, 2018, or a lawmaker that shows up to work drunk 9 days ago, or a lawmaker that leaves work drunk and crashes 2018, or a PUD commissioner engaged in bribery 2025, or a coroner that uses fentanyl found on dead bodies 2025, or the assessor that stalks his ex-girlfriend in violation of a court order 2025, or a predator council member assaulting a minor, or a county commissioner assaulting another person during a road rage incident 2025, I told you guys, they are pushing back hard. This is one of the most unpopular, hypocrisy-ridden bills ever passed. Lawmakers would never subject themselves or other elected offices to this level of accountability, and it comes in the same session where a lawmaker apologized for being drunk on the job while debating laws that will impact the rest of us for years to come. Drinking on duty is conduct that would result in decertification and removal for an elected sheriff. Okay, so I think you guys get it. In my opinion, I do think this story will definitely be making it to the Trump administration pretty soon if they find out what's happening here. But there's a lot going on around the world and the United States. So, of course, remember to please subscribe to my channel. It helps out a ton. Make sure to please like the video.
Okay, that guy's good intel person. I got the 10-minute guide that just came out on TikTok, you guys. $100 a barrel.
March 8th, the year of our Lord 2026. It is official. Right now, it's about, I would say, 1 minute to 5 here in California. And just a few minutes ago, it's official. Breaking news. The price of a barrel of oil is over $100 now. This is going to translate into a tightening of our belts, but we must remember, and I think most of the conservatives in this country know that that this war, I wouldn't say it's a war. It's definitely not a war. It's an operation that's being led by the President of the United States. In fact, General Flynn just posted a little post, a little comment, or I guess I might say video about what's actually going on here. This is not something that's been, just all of a sudden, okay, we decided to take this on to do this. For over 20 years, the Iranian regime, the IRGC, the Iranian, I guess what you might say, authoritarian regime, have been saying death to America. They've been wanting to put together a nuclear program to develop really serious developing really serious nuclear weapons that they could launch ballistically into America. They can't do that right now. That's what they were trying to do. These people in Iran really are pretty slow on the pickup. But more importantly, I want folks to understand this has been going on for well over 2 decades. And they've killed thousands and thousands of people. Thousands and thousands of people. Americans, is a Jewish people, their own people.
One more video after this, okay?
The President of the United States finally had enough. Something had to be done. We sit out here on the outside and we can kind of we try to figure out from the information that we're getting that what we form a judgment or an opinion. The best thing I can tell you is that the information that you're getting is pretty much accurate, and you can dig it out further if you decide to take the time. But this is a war that's been being waged on us by the Iranian regime, killing thousands of us, the Americans, Israeli, Jewish people in the region, their own Iranian citizens, to dominate the region and dominate basically the control of oil. That's changing right now as we speak. They've been just for 20, I can't emphasize enough how serious what they've been doing. And unless you've had a member of your family slaughtered by the Iranian regime, the IRGC, it doesn't really hit you. We can sit outside here and see it, but it doesn't really affect us. We don't smell the smells. We don't hear the sounds. We don't have the effect of the concussions of them exploding bombs.
I got one more. I'm going to play Doug video, you guys.
They've been funding Hamas, Hezbollah, and Hamas on October 7th a few years ago. Snuck in. Hamas is part and is funded of the Islamic Iranian regime. Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, does not negotiate with anyone. They don't negotiate. They don't think like us. So now we've got to tighten our belts a little bit. We've got to be part of this, contribute ourselves, tighten our belts a little bit. We will win this. This will be over quickly. And what's going to happen with that $100 or so price of a barrel of oil? It's going to go down because we will start producing more. We now, for the most part, have control. And listen to me very carefully. We have control of the distribution of oil right now on the planet. It's strategic. If you would like me to explain more, please go to preserveepac@gmail.com. That's preserveepac@gmail.com. I have people on my team, former DOD intelligence and counterintelligence analysts, former CIA, attorneys, a judge, people, investigators that know about the election process and investigating the election process. We basically brief as a group once a week. We know the ramifications. We know what's going on. The American public, I think, pretty much knows themselves what's going on, but they're scared. This will resolve itself. All we need to do is start producing more, and guess what? The price will come down. There's one little problem here in California, though, I might mention. 2 refineries closed, and now the price of gasoline at the pump in Los Angeles is $8 a gallon. That's by design. The Newsom Marxist machine in California with the regulations purposely are putting so much financial tax pressure on the American people here, or the citizens or the residents of California, that basically they're choking them out. California is that far away, and I mean that far away, not that far or that far, this far away from sovereign default. It's basically insolvent. California is insolvent. Where do you think this $500 billion went to during the Newsom administration? He was shifting money around to pay to keep the doors open for critical agencies. There's a game being played. California, for the most part, is so close to filing bankruptcy. And let me put this to you the right way. It's insolvent. It will not file bankruptcy. It will file what's called sovereign default. Pretty soon here, it's going to be able to pay the interest on the debt that it has to borrow to keep the doors open, or it will be able to open the doors, but it won't be able to do both. That's when the thing crashes. They'll close the doors on a Friday night. They won't open on Monday. They'll restructure the debt. That's a longer story. California is in, major financial problems. And guess what? It's all by design. It's the Marxist political warfare. And like I said, this is by design. If you go to preservingamericaepac.com, you can watch documentaries for free about how Marxist political warfare is waged. Pretty soon, I'm going to show you how we're going to win it. But Trump is already on that path. We are going to win it. Watch as this plays out. The price of gas is going to come down, but it's going to take some time. God bless.
Okay, that was another good one from him. He does the breaking news stuff, channel on TikTok. Last one is Doug, you guys. One more, buddy.
Keep you up to date on why this is working. Trump's winning. The people of Iran are winning against that evil regime. Israel's winning. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are.
Stop, Chico. I'm almost done. Come here.
IDF spokesperson from Israel. This is the secret bunker from which Khamenei was supposed to conduct the war. Senior police officers continued to use it because they thought it was protected and impenetrable. They were wrong. So here's the graphic. This is a computer representation of his underground bunker. And we have reports now of doctors leaving hospitals because they also have some military stuff. The terrorists always use hospitals, schools to protect themselves. So we're going to take a tour of this underground bunker, and it's part of a long chain network of underground bunkers. These are giant, by the way, hallways between them that you can drive trucks through. We're going to zoom in. How many layers deep? This is 8 stories deep. There's an elevator that goes down to this bottom, and then you go through these tunnels, which you can run through, or they could drive through them using small electric vehicles, so there's no exhaust. Images of the Ayatollah everywhere. This is all decimated now, guys. We've penetrated all of this, and it's gone. I'm going to get to the rest of the really cool tech on our actual use of the ancient B-52 bomber, and why is it absolute proof that we're winning. But first, I'm going to tell you guys a real quick word from our sponsor, Chapter. Most of you are in the wrong Medicare plan. That's a fact. My audience they save a ton of money, and you can get expert help from the people at Chapter who call. They will treat you very kind. It's a free phone call. You call 631-961-8696. That's a number just for my audience. And it's the first pinned comment. Usually it's in the description. 631-961-8696. Call Chapter if you're confused about Medicare, and they'll straighten you out for free. This is that CENTCOM released footage of B-52 bombers taking off for airstrikes on Iran. They're loaded with long-range AGM-158 JASSM missiles, meaning they're launching from outside Iranian airspace rather than flying directly over the country. So true air superiority hasn't been achieved. That's the claim. I'll tell you why that's probably wrong. Because they're saying air superiority means that you're not flying directly over Iran and dropping them. This is the kind of weapons that we're dropping. So these shoot from out. The B-52 will drop it, and then the missile has its own path. So it's not a true dead just drop. That's the B-52 taking off. This is a beautiful ancient plane. Okay, and then this is an image of them in the daylight so you can see the actual bombs being placed under the wings. Why do we still have air superiority? Because the B-52 is an ancient weapon. You don't fly that over Iranian airspace, I don't think, hardly ever, even if you have air superiority. There's other planes that you can use, and this is a very cheap option that we actually don't even fly unless we have air superiority. The United States has confirmed B-52 Stratofortress bombers are now striking Iran. Understand what this means. On February 28th, the U.S. sent B-2 Spirits. The B-2 is a stealth bomber. It costs $2.1 billion per aircraft. So when you really need stealth, which you do not send in a B-52 at the start. The U.S. had 20 of them. You send B-2s when the enemy's air defense are intact and you need to penetrate undetected. 4 B-2s dropped 160,000 pounds of bunker-busting ordnance. That's why I showed you that bunker that was protecting Iranian leadership that we pierced on hardened underground facilities in the opening wave. On March 2nd, the U.S. sent B-1 Lancers. The B-1 is a supersonic bomber, faster than the B-2, but not stealth. So do you see how you can go with less stealthy planes with a little less protection as you gain superiority? You send B-1s when the air defenses have been degraded enough that speed, not invisibility, is sufficient to survive. The B-1s conducted the deepest raids into Iran since 2003. So we're already sending them way in. Now, late last week on March 3rd, the U.S. sent B-52s. The B-52 is a 72-year-old subsonic craft. It's not stealth, so it's not fast and it's not invisible. It has a radar cross-section the size of a barn. It flies at 650 miles per hour at 50,000 feet, and it is visible to every radar system on Earth. In some cases, it's visible to the human eye. You send B-52s when there's nothing left to shoot them down. That's the sequence. B2, B1, B-52. And I hope you guys have subscribed, because now you probably know more about military aircraft than the audience of nearly any other channel. Here's Iranians cheering as the regime targets are being destroyed. This is the other war. The war is in the minds of the people around the world, not just Iranians, but these are the Iranian people cheering on as the bombs are destroying the buildings of the corrupt leadership. So look, see that? They're laughing. I love it. That's where their leadership is. Just got smoked. There's another one. So that's what it looks like when they finally hit our targets, by the way, are very specific. We don't just shower them with bombs. That's not what we do. They do it with their cluster bombs, which we showed you earlier. Here's Basik's Mekdad headquarters near Azadi Square in Tehran, destroyed earlier today. That was from last week. Forces killed hundreds of, this building was used to kill hundreds of protesters by firing from the rooftop of this building. Boom. Now it's gone. And they're happy. Because this building was used, they were firing from the rooftop down on civilians, thousands of them. They're protesting. And now, to demoralize the Islamic regime, we blew those buildings up. Wait, there's more. Breaking this morning, this is from last week, 50 Israeli planes dropped 100 bombs on an underground bunker in the leadership compound of Tehran, reportedly eliminating all top remaining leadership in the regime. So we're breaking the regime with this stuff. It's a little pixelated. Let me get out of your way here. That's it going up. And these are day shots because we have utter dominance, and so does Israel. Gone. Here's another shot using black and white footage. You can see the surveillance. Next up, we have in the opening hours of the U.S. war, U.S.-Israeli aircraft. Let me go ahead and bring this video up because this is going to take a minute for you to watch. Okay, look at this one. This shows the opening House of War U.S.-Israeli aircraft blanketed Iran's Hamadan air base with GBU-39 SDBs, cratering runways, taxiways, and access points. So if you can break up the asphalt with less than 1,000 feet between the holes, then an airplane can't take off. So watch this. This is a before, and then you'll see an after with the holes. See those red circles? Those are holes punched in the runways. Let's say they're 500 to 900 feet apart, and that means the airplane can't use the strip anymore. So that's just good tactics. You want to use the minimum amount of ordnance, do the maximum amount of damage. Speaking of, we're relying on the Kurds to go into the ground because we don't want to put American boots on the ground. So here's a former CIA agent saying, this is John Kirikou, chances are 100% the Kurds will invade on foot. They're going to be our landward. These are the Kurds training up top.
They could draw the Iranian Republican Guard units out into the open and expose them to U.S. airstrikes. They could also provide security for the Iranian people in the capital and help prevent another regime crackdown. John Kiriakou is a former CIA agent. Do you think the Kurdish play is a distinct possibility?
Oh, I would say the chances are 100%.
I've made fun of John Kay before, but I'll let him speak now.
The Kurds have long worked with the United States. They are brave fighters, pro-American, We've worked with them very closely in the past against Saddam Hussein. We worked with them in Syria.
He's a very old intelligence guy, not old in age, but old in having been around. So this is all theory. I agree with his theory in this case. Israel is sending them messages that they'll back them up. Here's Dr. Eli David, report from Iran that the IRGC commanders are hiding under hospitals. Submission, I myself am a healthcare worker at Labafinajad Hospital today. Many of us doctors left the hospital. Why did they leave the hospital? Because it's going to get fired upon because they build those underground bunkers under the hospitals that I showed you in the first clip. Iranians hate the regime so much that the moment they manage to connect to the internet, they use it to report the exact locations of Iran Islamic regime forces so the IDF can strike them down. So here they are. I'm barely connected. My internet is very weak. Pass this location around until it reaches the Israeli army. Suppression forces have gathered here, and they give the exact pinpoint location on a Google map. There's another one. My close friend from Tehran sent me this, the hiding place of the repressive forces. We sent a report to the IDF. Please spread it as much as you can. You cannot, this is why Iran can't win. You can't win against your own people. Their own people are reporting against them. Here's another shot of those cluster missiles. This is another sign that actually Iran is losing because they're randomly sending volume down on this. See those missiles all going in? This is against international law. But watch a single leftist say anything about one missile suddenly becoming 80 missiles when it's Israel that's under attack. The left are rooting for the Ayatollah's regime. Leftists want all Jews to die and not have infrastructure to defend ourselves. Well, guess what? It's not 1939 anymore. So what I'm saying is all this military hardware sculpts and proves through a big picture that the kinds of forces that we're using, like the B-52, on these underground bunkers are being exposed. And Iran, all they can do is spray these cluster bombs indiscriminately to civilians and not hit military targets. They're going to lose. We're going to win. And we're trying to avoid boots on the ground. It might still happen. You have to keep that open. You can't close that off and tell your enemy that it's closed off, or they will change their tactics to wait you out. But now you guys are getting a little more wise on the why and the how this whole thing's being conducted, why we're still winning, why it's still good news. Like I said before, you're probably in the wrong Medicare plan. I want to save you guys thousands.
Okay, that was another good one, right, you guys, from Doug to end the show with. All right, another good night of intel. Hope everyone had a good weekend, and Monday. Hopefully we'll get something this week. So thanks. We got Tim. I think Tim was in here. And we got Carol, Flying Eagle, and Kay took the night off. So, God bless everybody. Love all. Remember, please hit the like. And remember, no one's signing up on the backup channels. Just go to the description box. Thank you. Stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith. Never give up. And signing off. Another good day of intel. Chico and Dude. Tomorrow evening. Try to stay at one show unless something happens during the day. Everyone have a good Monday. See you tomorrow.